Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Today is January 30th, 2025, and we have me and Derek here have a stream about the big news from yesterday. And Derek, go ahead and give us a few words. Make sure you're coming through.
Yeah, what's up, everybody? It's January 30th, 2025, doing a simulcast on both the Decoding with Cody and Gematrinator 85 YouTube channels.
Yep. And guys, make sure you guys give us that thumbs up in my chat. Make sure you can hear both of us. Sounds good. And me and Derek are going to kind of bounce back and forth here. Derek's a bit under the weather, so we're just going to bounce back and forth. And yeah, we got a lot of things to talk about. We're going to start off with Derek talking a bit about um, Sean Duffy, the new transportation head, and why he just got sworn in a day before this, which what a coincidence that is. And then we're going to talk a lot about um, the Mercury stuff that me and Derek have talked about on multiple streams that have been about plane crashes. I mean, I think we've done at least 3 or 4 of these now. Um, that I think a lot of our streams have been about plane crashes, haven't they? The ones we've done
Especially
together.
over the last month, yeah.
Yeah. So again, if you guys haven't been watching our channels, then you guys have missed the fact that we've been talking about these plane crashes over and over and over again. And we'll let Derek show you here. I mean, I think he's got the
Well, yeah, I just wanted to recap. This started back on December 19th. We had a small single jet plane crash into the home of a Buffalo Bills player or onto his property. And this sparked off a series of airline incidents, with the big one being the December 29th Jeju air crash. Cody and I did a live stream on that. And now that Trump has taken office, after slicing his airplane cake with the machete, now we have an incident, coincidentally enough, in Washington, D.C. So, no huge surprises here. For years, we've been seeing incidents where we've had near misses between various aircraft, and finally, it's unfortunately happened with sounds like 67 people killed in this midair collision. And what I wanted to focus on to start is the fact that this crash occurred during the first full day in office for the new Secretary of Transportation, Sean Duffy. And Duffy, a former reality television star from my home state of Wisconsin, sworn in on January 28th, and this crash unfolding about 24 hours later on January 29th. So we've seen a lot of Sean Duffy on television since this happened. And he wasn't the only one who was undergoing confirmation hearings this week, as we also had RFK Jr. standing in front of Congress yesterday for his first round of hearings. Now, I did a video on Sean Duffy and how he's connected to the Skull and Bones Code back when he was first nominated by Donald Trump a couple of months ago. And Sean Duffy, his middle name is Patrick, which connects him to actor Patrick Duffy. Not really going to dive too deep into that for the sake of this
Patrick
video,
Mahomes.
but from the date that he was nominated as the Transportation Secretary on 11/19, November 19th, to the date of the airplane crash, January 29th, was 71 days later. And this is a number Sean Patrick Duffy has in reduction gematria. The phrase airplane crash, also 71. And remember, Donald Trump has the big 71 in his number in the satanic method. And it's worth mentioning that when Trump took office, he had the 710 in his age. So 71 days after the nomination, we get a plane crash. And this guy, Sean Duffy, was also born in the year 71. You know what I just realized too, saying this out loud, is that this guy starred on The Real World Boston. And in this aircraft, there were several members of the Skating Club of Boston that were on board the flight. So, U.S. figure skating championships competitors dying in this collision, and a lot of them were from Boston. And Sean Duffy, real world Boston, there you go. The designation of the airline, the plane was CRJ 701 as well. Now, this measurement is also 72 days with the end date. Robert F. Kennedy has the double 72, but this is also the ordinal gematria of Black Hawk, as it was a Black Hawk military helicopter that this jet collided with. And how interesting that Transportation Secretary has this special 314 gematria that we've been talking about for months. Of course, we have this big eclipse coming up on Pi Day, or 314, in a couple of months. 314, also the reverse gematria of Robert Francis Kennedy. And when you look up the Black Hawk helicopter, you realize it was first flown just a couple of years after Sean Duffy was born. In fact, it was 3 years and 14 days after his birth that this helicopter was first launched. So as we go, we'll also look at a riddle connecting this to the famous film Black Hawk Down from 2001. I know Cody also has some other information that we'll be sharing on Air Force One Down, which was another movie about an airplane incident that was released last year. So this crash fell 44 days before the Pi Day eclipse. Of course, 44, an important number. The word kill equals 44 in the alphabetic order. But remember, Sean Duffy is from Wisconsin, which equals 44. And Wisconsin has matching 125 gematria with airplane crash, with U.S. Department of Transportation, and Transportation Secretary, all 125. Another really important element to this riddle is that the plane was flying in from Wichita. And Wichita sums to 44 in gematria as well. So I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Cody, but I'm going to get into the Skull and Bones code next. All right, so this American Airlines passenger jet that went down was operating under the American Eagle banner. And this phrase, American Eagle, using the triangular number cipher, sums to this special number, 572. Followers of my channel are hopefully familiar with this number by now, because 572 is the Latin value of skull and bones. We also find the 572 in U.S. Department of Transportation, which is 1,572. And this new character leading the U.S. DOT, his name, Sean Duffy, equals 752, which is the standard gematria of skull and bones. Same 3 digits, slightly flipped around, but we see a very strong element with this. Of course, Washington, D.C. is home to the 202 dialing code. Skull and Bones equals 202, like the Brotherhood of Death 220, a number also found in Duffy's birth numerology. The name Duffy on its own in this Latin method sums to 616, just like ritual sacrifice. And the date 616, or June 16th, is the date that Reagan National Airport first opened, all the way back in 1941, of course, the same year as the Pearl Harbor attacks, which involved many, many airplanes. But just think about the odds of this, right? Now, again, just a few months after 9/11, the film Black Hawk Down came out. And I want you to look at Sean Duffy's age when Black Hawk Down hit theaters internationally. He was 11,066 days old. Well, that stands out because he was born 11,066 days after Reagan Airport first opened on that special 6/16 date, which is found in his Gematria. This is also found in the flight number. Flight 5342 was the plane that crashed. When you write out flight 5342, it sums to 1166. It also equals 322, which is obviously the major skull and bones number, as it's the number they implanted on their emblem. And we see a lot of these digits, right? Black Hawk Down is 223, matching the skull and crossbones. Reagan Airport was 22,003 days old for the 9/11 attacks, which I'll talk about a little bit more. But the 223 is also the gematria of the moon in ancient Hebrew, as this is the number of synodic months in the Saros cycle. Ronald Reagan was the 223rd prime number of lunar phases old for this crash. And this is significant because 1409, the 223rd prime, this is like the gematria of skull and bones, 149. So the last thing I have before I'll pitch it back to you, Cody, is this special Yale anniversary. Back in the year 2023, Yale University turned 322 years old on October 9th of that year. And this plane crash has a significant connection to that date because it's 1 year and 16 weeks from that big anniversary to the plane crash. And how often do we talk about this 116? Because it's an upside down 9/11. The name Reagan is 116. The flight was coming in from Wichita, 116. Duffy, 1016. Robert Francis Kennedy, 116. And wouldn't you believe, Sean Duffy was 119 days after his birthday for this incident. 119, reminding us of the date of the September 11th attacks. Also, Ronald Reagan, who was born in the year 1911. Again, this crash at an airport now named after him. Reagan lived for 1,119 months, matching Transportation Secretary, 1119. And the man that Sean Duffy replaced, Pete Buttigieg, well, he was born on January 19th, or 119. And now Sean Duffy comes in, and Sean Duffy is 10 years, 109 days older than the last Transportation Secretary. So this is definitely a huge riddle for Sean Duffy. And again, if you're watching on my channel, in the links in the description below, I linked to the video I made back in November about Sean Duffy and this skull and bones code. And what do you know? His first day in office, we get the first major airline crash in the United States since 2001. Now, there's been a handful of incidents that have resulted in deaths, the biggest one being the Colgan Air crash of 2009. But this is the first time a signature American airliner, such as American Airlines, has had a fatality on board since the year of the 9/11 attacks. So it's a pretty big one, a lot lining up. And I do have more on the planet Mercury that goes into this, as this will bring me into the John Madden part of the riddle. But before I get there, Cody, I think I'll throw it back to you.
Yeah, because and I think that it's a good. You kind of left off there with the 9/11 riddle, and I think it's a very important point to point out, guys, that Remember, Pearl Harbor was in a snake.
So I believe we're losing your audio intermittently here, Cody.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Is it better now? Can you hear me?
I can hear you again now, yeah.
I don't know. Something's
Ooh. Well, I might be a little bit under the weather, but it sounds like it's Cody's technology that is sick on his end.
okay. So, what about now?
Now I can hear you once more.
Okay. So, it's important to point out, as I was trying to say, that the considering that Derek just left off with the 9/11 stuff, 9/11 was in a snake year. Planes hitting towers in a snake year. Pearl Harbor was also in a snake year. And now, at the beginning of this snake year, we have a plane incident. And it just seems to speak to, people have talked about another 9/11. Well, is this signaling something again this year? Or is this just kind of a ritual to kind of go with it? But I mean, as Derek was saying, there's a lot of connections with this new transportation secretary and the 9/11 and the Skull and Bones. Remember how important Skull and Bones was with George Bush and 9/11. So that's kind of where I lead into, you know, the snake years and how important the snake symbolism really is here, and just overall in general, both to Mercury, which is the god of transportation, and also to the Bible, which, as you guys can see here, we're looking at Revelation 12:9, and of course this incident happened on the date 129. So this is a verse that goes with the date of this crash. And just look at what the verse says. And the great dragon was cast out. So think about it. We just left the dragon year. It was cast away, right? And now the serpent enters. So it kind of says the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil Satan, which deceiveth the whole world, and he was cast out into the earth. So he falls, right? Planes falling to the earth. And again, we're going to talk about why the snake year seems to align with these type of incidents. And 9/11, again, was no different. It happened in that snake year. And one thing, just to start off with a few obvious things before I even get into this, the word collide. You're seeing a collision or collide a lot. The word collide equals 129. This happened on 129, again, like the verse about the old serpent. Um, also, I noticed that plane helicopter collision, if you type that phrase in, it also equals 129.
Another 129, Cody, is that Black Hawk Down came out 129 days after the September 11th attacks.
Ah, yeah. Ah, okay. Well, that's gonna tie in with the 201 too, because 129 is 201 in base 8, and that I kind of connect that in a little bit more with the serpent thing. So, well, that goes perfect with that then. Um, but yeah, and then this one, I know everyone wants to hear something about this. I know how people in the chat saying I want to hear about the 33. Well, we know how they love the 33. That's just the kind of on the surface stuff that most anyone can see. And they said this plane was going to land at runway 33. And I noticed that the call sign for this plane was Blue Streak. And Blue Streak happens to have double 33 gematria in both your reduction and your old reliable cipher that I love, the Chaldean, also has the 33. And notice that that's in the same cipher as the word collision. And also notice that the word collide equals 33. They said this was going to land at runway 33. And thanks to Joseph Aquaviva, who I think is in the chat, he found that it was 137 days before Trump's birthday, which is the 33rd prime, and Washington, D.C. equals 137. So a lot of 33s, runway 33, and Blue Streak is the name of the call sign. So
Yeah,
yeah, there.
I got more 33s later too. This will tie into the John Madden part of the riddle, as he died 3 years, 33 days before this crash. And of
Okay.
course, runway 33 is also important to NASA. They have runway 1533 at Kennedy Space Center. We had confirmation hearings for a Kennedy on the same day.
Right. Yeah. I just saw the first thing I saw this morning when I opened it up was people talking about the runway. That was like the surface level truthers are all over that one. But
Exactly.
um I thought I'd give them a little throw them a little bone here with the 33s. And so but this is what really got me. I want you guys to see almost like, okay, if I would have looked a little closer into this, I could have said, yeah, I mean, maybe I could have pinpointed something. And to be honest, Casey Jones Astrology, he was already kind of pinpointing the day before for some sort of event possibly happening. But it's just pretty crazy because Trump was 9 days or a span of 10 days. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Before the crash, he was literally cutting a cake with a plane on it with his wife standing behind him looking like she's wearing a snake. So, I mean, and he's cutting it with a sword, a military sword. And what crashed into the plane, guys? A military aircraft, a military sword cuts through the plane. You guys get it? It's clear symbolism. Like military aircraft, the sword cuts through the plane while his wife is wearing a snake gown. I mean, that's what it looks like to me. I don't know if I'm tripping here or not, but that looks like as close as you can get to wearing a snake on your dress. So, Trump, and then here's, of course, you got both people here, both the presidents here, and just the snake symbolism. But another thing I saw clearly was point out was that they really love the 60 here. They said it was a Sikorsky VH-60 Blackhawk. There's your 60, and they said there was 60 passengers on the plane. And why is the 60 important? Because the word collide also equals 60, like Donald Trump. And we just had where he was at his inauguration, 9 days ago, had the 60th inauguration. And Donald Trump equals 60, like inauguration. Uh, Joseph in the chat is saying figure skaters equals 60. I forgot that one. Yes, that's a good point. I didn't get the figure skaters into this decode, but I think I'm going to kind of go at the end and talk about that because I think the figure skaters again connects to the snake. Think about it. What do figure skaters do? They make figure eights. They make what you could say is kind of snake moves, snake symbols on the ice, right? So I think that's a big part of this. But let's just jump into the snake thing. Remember, I did a decode back in about the year of the snake, like 2 months ago. And I told you guys that this date, the 29th, I talked about it thoroughly, is going to be interesting because it lines up perfectly in many ways with the snake poem that Donald Trump read. And as you guys can see, this was the 29th day of the year. Donald Trump he read the lyrics from The Snake. Again, you have to put the in there because that's the name of the poem and the lyrics is The Snake, not just snake. So that equals 29. Like it's the 29th day of the year. The snake year starts. And Trump has that 29. And then I started realizing that this was all connected with the 29 because not only does Trump equal 29, like this happened on the 29th day of the year, and Trump was using a sword to cut his airplane cake, which also equals 29. This was a span of 10 days before this collision. And what is the number 10? Well, 29 is the 10th prime. So kind of you get a 29 span, 10 connects to the number 29. So you got Trump and sword, and this happens, you know, on the 29th day of the year, just like the snake equals 29. And then you started, I remembered that I had just did a decode a month, and like Derek said, we just did decodes on plane incidents so many times this in the last 2 months. And I had just did a decode on a movie called Air Force One Down that was released on 2/9 last year, which is the same date the Super Bowl is this year. And this, of course, connects perfectly to the Super Bowl. Where was the flight coming from? Well, it was coming from Wichita, Kansas, and we have the Kansas City Chiefs in the upcoming Super Bowl. Of course, I know that Kansas City isn't really in Missouri, but we're talking about Kansas here. So in Kansas, and then you had the plane called the Eagle. So you had the Eagle and the Kansas. And that's the matchup we have in the Super Bowl on 2/9. So that means that Air Force One Down was released exactly a year before the Super Bowl on 2/9, like the snake. Like this crash was all about the Potomac, which equals 29. And this connects us to football, which equals 29, like the star quarterback of the upcoming Super Bowl, Mahomes, looking to get his third Super Bowl. And there was 3 passengers on the helicopter, supposedly. So, and there was the 33 stuff. And remember, last year in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes had all the 33 stuff. So, again, this 29 just seemed to be big. And then you think about what was it with Kobe? Because we just had Kobe's helicopter crash death anniversary 3 days before this. And I just told you there was 3 people on the helicopter that went down. And the whole thing with Patrick Mahomes. And don't forget, the Super Bowl this year is featuring Philadelphia. Kobe is from Philadelphia. He likes the Philadelphia Eagles, and he's the snake. So not only do you have the Philadelphia connection, he was the Black Mamba. And I started thinking about how the word black also ties to the number 29. Now, this is where it gets interesting because this could also be pointing to some more blackout symbolism. Remember, in 2013 in New Orleans, which is where the Super Bowl in a few days is going to be, there was a blackout at the Super Bowl in New Orleans. Well, the word black equals 29. We're talking about Black Mamba, Kobe, right? The Black Mamba, the blackout. So I'll just read what I wrote here. Kansas City Chiefs versus Philadelphia Eagles is being played in the same stadium as the Blackout Bowl. The collision involved a Black Hawk and was 3 days after the anniversary of Black Mamba, Kobe's helicopter crash. So they were emphasizing all these blacks, and I just wanted to point out that to go with all the other 29s I already mentioned, the word black equals 29, like the snake and, Kobe the Black Mamba. But this brings us to the Mercury connection, which is my favorite part of the decode and thanks again to Casey Jones Astrology for leading us to this well in advance and continuing to this is the gift that keeps on giving with the Mercury.
Yeah,
And
huge shout out to Casey. And if you don't mind me sharing one quick thing, Cody,
yeah, go ahead.
when Kobe Bryant died, it was on his mercurial birthday.
Yeah.
Every 88 days. And what I wanted to point out about that is that he was exactly 172 mercurial orbits.
Kansas City Chiefs, right?
That's the ordinal gematria of Kansas City Chiefs. So, back in 2001, we got the Patriot Act in response to 9/11, and then the Patriot dynasty started. Well, then Kobe Bryant dies, and literally exactly 1 week later, the Chiefs dynasty begins. And you have the 172 connection between him and the Kansas City Chiefs. So it's just remarkable.
Yeah. So that's what Derek was just saying, guys.
Did we lose your mic again, Cody? Uh-oh.
All right, can you hear me now? I don't know what's going on. In
Uh yeah, it's more intermittent than my fasting. That was a bad joke, but I'm trying to fill time here, so
Okay, yeah. How about now?
yeah, so far so good.
Okay. Something's going on with the thing. I don't know exactly what, but anyways. So yeah, what Derek was saying was the Mercury birthday of Kobe Bryant was when he died, he was exactly on Mercury birthday, 172 Mercury years old, and that is the gematria of the team that's getting ready to play in the Super Bowl in a few days. That's their basic standard gematria, 172. Again, Kobe Bryant, 172 Mercury years old on the day of his death, right? And now a few days before the Kansas City Chiefs can three-peat, and wasn't Kobe one of the last athletes to three-peat?
Oh,
Derek?
well, that's a good point. Yeah, it would have been you're talking about like early 2000s.
Yeah, I thought somebody said that one of the last teams to three-peat was the Lakers, wasn't it? I'm not for
Yeah,
sure,
because the
but
Yankees did it and then the Lakers did it. And I'm pretty sure that's the last time in any major sport.
yeah. So again, there's that too. There's that three-peat connection, and Yeah, so in the Mercury thing, let's explain in case you guys are new to the channel, you guys don't understand why we're talking so much about Mercury. Why would Mercury be so perfectly connected to this incident? Well, Mercury is one of the gods that you would think of that has not only a connection to snakes, but also would have a connection to airplanes. Again, Mercury Hermes is the god of transportation, but his symbol, the caduceus, has not only the snakes, but it also has the wings, which could be substituted as a plane. So literally his symbol is a perfect example of what just happened yesterday. Two snakes facing each other, colliding on the wings, right? And think about the movie Snakes on a Plane. They gave us this symbol clearly on their movie logo. They gave us the Mercury symbol right here, right? And they gave us on a plane. Instead of the bird's wings, we get the plane wings. So you guys can see how this is obviously has to be about Mercury. I mean, there should be no doubting it. And it's interesting because if you look it up, the symbolism of the caduceus can mean two serpents representing the duality and the collision or the combining of opposites. Okay, so you have a collision between two things, a helicopter and a plane, and there might be a symbolism here. The helicopter is different from a plane. The helicopter has a spinning, there's differences here, but I don't want to get into that here. But there might be like some symbolism there. But either way, you have this colliding, and that's technically what the Mercury symbol could represent.
And my
And
apologies if you mentioned this, but yesterday, January 29th, was the date of the Chinese
oh,
New Year.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's what I was kind of getting at was the snake year, yeah.
Oh, my
And
bad.
no, but what actually you just reminded me of that I forgot to even mention was yesterday was not only the beginning of the snake year, it was a Wednesday. It was a Mercury day.
Yes.
So you have Mercury on the snake year. The Mercury symbol is a perfect example of the collision of snakes and planes, which is why you have the movie Snakes on a Plane looking like this. But not only, remember, I showed you back here Revelation 12:9. Remember, this happens on 129. In Revelation 12:9, you get the fall of the dragon, that old serpent. Now, look how perfectly this connects. Now, from this crash on 129 to the anniversary of the snakes on the plane with the clear Mercury symbol is it 201 days. And in Gematria, that old serpent, which they title this in the book of Revelation, equals 201. And what's crazy is in base 8 counting, if you convert your base 10 to base 8 counting, the number 129 converts into 201 in base 8. On top of that, Mercury is, I believe Mercury is that old serpent. Why? Because Mercury is the deceiver. Think about it. Satan, as that serpent in Genesis, deceives Eve by offering knowledge, right? Mercury is the trickster, known for his cunning, wit, and ability to deceive. Okay? So here you have a clear representation. And not only was this 201 days before Snakes on a Plane anniversary, it was connecting perfectly to Mercury, the element, because Mercury, the element, is the element that has the 201 mass. So all of this seems to be perfectly synced with Mercury and the number 201. And we know the number 201 is also the Jesuit number. The Pope, he lives in Suite 201. His name equals 201. The Jesuit founder is 201. I didn't want to throw all that in here. I didn't have time, but the huge 201 connection. And we know how big the last thing with COVID was all tied with that number. And Mercury also is sometimes associated with that same type of stuff, healing. So it just all seems to connect. And then this is where we're going to talk about Trump's Mercury birthday because again, Trump is cutting the cake with the plane on it a few days before this. And again, big shout out to Casey Jones. He put us on this. This is the most forefront example that we can show. When Trump turned 302 Mercury years old, which is just basically 88 days is a Mercury year, so 88 cycles of, so 302 cycles of 88 days, which totals to 26,567. Trump turned 302 Mercury years old on the very day that a plane crashed called Flight 302. So again, I always just find that absolutely mind blowing that, you know, how perfect that was. And on top of that, this crash after Trump's inauguration yesterday was 40 days before the anniversary of that Flight 302 that crashed on his 302 Mercury birthday. And what is the gematria of Mercury? 40. 40 days before this anniversary. On top of that, this plane was heading to Ronald Reagan. And what was Ronald Reagan? He was the 40th president. Mercury, 40. Trump, not only was it 40 days before the anniversary of his 302 plane crash riddle, it was 40 days after his 326th Mercury birthday. And this is where it gets wild because me and Derek covered this. We covered the plane crash of Dion Dawkins on Trump's 326th Mercury birthday. Right here, on the day Trump turned 326 Mercury years old, there was a plane crash on Dawkins' property, which equals 326. And then 40 days later, which is the gematria of Mercury, there's a plane crash. And Wikipedia just happens to title the plane crash 2025 Potomac River mid-air collision, which just so happens to equal 326. So do you guys see how perfect that is? 40 days after his 326th Mercury birthday, when Mercury equals 40, and the title of this crash on Wikipedia equals 326. And on the day of his 326th Mercury birthday, you had another crash on Dawkins' property, which equals 326. So, and then this is where it gets crazy because is Trump going to go down in a crash? That's the question here for me. I mean,
Well,
because,
I'm
or is it
asking it
just,
too.
yeah, because look at this, guys. I covered this in my past videos last month too when me and Derek covered it. There was one incident last year with Trump and a mechanical issue, and he had to make an emergency landing in Billings, Montana. Think about it. Billings, Bills, the Mercury birthday was, I think it's either symbolizing him going down in a plane crash or the US dollar is going down. The bill, right? But anyway, Trump plane suffered a mechanical issue on August 9th. From the day his plane suffered a mechanical issue to the collision, 173 days. Plane crash equals 173, the 40th prime, like Mercury. And I just told you it was 40 days after his 326th Mercury birthday, going to Ronald Reagan, the 40th president airport. And then it was 40 days before the anniversary of his 302 when he turned 302 Mercury years and Flight 302 crashed. I mean, how perfect is that? All the 40s. And I forgot to even mention that the Super Bowl that I already connected it to was on the 40th day of the year. So, um, and then big shout out to Casey for this, just to kind of wrap this up a bit. Not only was this, you know, the name of this crash equal 326, like Trump was in his 326 Mercury year, this all connected to Kobe, who died on his Mercury birthday. Okay. And when he died, he was 21 or 2,161 weeks of his life, which is the 326 prime. Okay. And remember, last year we had an event on 326, which was also connected to a type of transportation, a boat hitting a bridge, right? So this 326 is really big, and it's been big with Kobe. It's been big with Trump now, because in his 326 Mercury birthday, we've had a lot of plane crashes. Remember, we had the one on the the one on the Jimmy Carter's death day, and then we had the Dion Dawkins one, and then now we have this one. So, and then one more thing from this midair collision to Trump's next Mercury birthday on and just look what day his next Mercury birthday falls on. 17/3. Plane crash, 173, the 40th prime again. So this 40 is just everywhere. And it happens to be 47 days after this collision, and Trump just became the 47th president. And that will be his 327th Mercury birthday. So, yeah, and then maybe we'll let's see. This is from my last video that we did, Derek, when we talked about Steve Mensch. Remember the president of Tyler Perry Studios? He
Yeah.
died in a plane crash 119 days after Trump's emergency landing. And that was 6 months and 2 days after Air Force One down came out. Air Force One equals 62. 6 months and 2 days later, Trump has an issue, and then 119 days later, a president of Tyler Perry Studios goes down, and he was 62 years old. His last name Mensch equals 62. It was 6 months and 2 days before his birthday. The date numerology of that day was 62. Airplane crash equals 62. The date that Trump's mechanical issue was in the news was 62 date numerology. And what's crazy is 62 is the 43rd composite number, and the number 43 is the other big plane crash number. Plane crash 43. There was 43 weeks between Air Force One down and Steve Mensch's plane crash, and that was in Florida. And the last uh what was it? The last airplane crash into the Potomac was 43 years ago. Oh, that's what I had here. The last airplane crash into the Potomac was Air Florida flight 90, and plane crash equals 43. It was 43 years, 16 days. This reminds me of Yale. Isn't Yale's Gematria 43 and 16? But yeah. So yeah, Florida 43, plane crash 43.
We got a Casey Jones backstage.
Oh, Casey Jones backstage. Okay. Kansas equals 43. Thank you for that, Joseph. Casey Jones backstage. See if he can get in here. You there, brother? Can you hear me?
Woo-woo.
Yep.
Got me?
What's up, man?
Hey, I'm out here delivering this mail again.
Well, deliver us a good message.
All right, all right. That's something I mentioned to Cody concerning Kobe. I thought it was interesting that it was a solid lunar synodic and lunar sidereal count from his death. It was 62 synodic lunar months and 67 sidereal lunar months. And
I
67 is the
have that in
total.
here.
Oh, okay. Well, 67 is the total number of passengers combined on the helicopter and airplane.
Yeah, see,
And it,
look at this.
go ahead.
Hold on. Let me get that up so I can show them what you're saying. Yeah, so here it is. Go ahead. It's 62 exact lunar months from Kobe's death to this collision. So that's airplane crash. So they can see it there.
And it's 67 sidereal.
Oh yeah, 67 sidereal.
Yeah, no. So there's 64 people on the plane and 3 people in the helicopter for 67. Yeah.
Yeah. So
And then yeah,
it was 67 sidereal. Ah. And there was 67 total deaths. That's what you're saying, yeah. I
right.
see.
Kobe equals 67, just like Black Mamba and Calabasas, where he
And
died.
I knew Derek would have a lot of 67s with Kobe because I remember, his death had a lot of 67s that Derek had.
Yeah, that was a big one. He died on a 67 date. Blood sacrifice is 67.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the other thing too is, of course, we know that Kobe died on the first day of the year of the rat. And with the 326s, the moon was at 326 degrees over the ecliptic. It was 326 days before the Pope's 84th birthday. It was 326 days after Shaquille O'Neal's 47th birthday. It was the day after LeBron passed him scoring, and the Pope, LeBron, and Shaquille O'Neal are born in the year of the rat, which is the opposing sign to Kobe Bryant. So the sign which is the horse. And so I think it's interesting that we kind of have these parallels with that being the first day of a Chinese New Year, and then yesterday being the first day of the Chinese Year of the Snake. You have to keep in mind that the opposing sign for the snake is the pig. It's interesting to know that Derek brought up John Duffy. He was born in a pig year, similar to Elon Musk. So I think, I feel like Trump may be out of the water. Maybe Elon Musk is the one to watch out for. But I will say, Trump is kind of at odds with the FAA right now. I guess some of the news are reporting that he asked a lot of the FAA senior officials, and so it's kind of maybe setting up. Um, if he were to go down and crash, they already have somebody to blame. And
Yeah, I
that's the other
think I
thing
saw.
too, with the FAA connects to Kobe because Kobe Bryant has got the 8/23 birthday, just like the FAA has the 8/23 founding date, and
Yeah,
FAA
I
is a
got that in here.
F. Yeah. Oh, okay. My bad. But real quick, FAA is a 611. Uranus is 611, and Uranus came out of retrograde yesterday. And if you go from the day of Kobe Bryant's 81-point gains yesterday, it's the 891st prime number, and in Greek alphabet, Uranus is 891. And one more thing, and I'll let you take over, Cody. Is I think it's real fascinating that Uranus is just one letter off Uraeus. If you replace the N, you replace the letter N with the letter E, you get a word that's I'm not sure how you pronounce it, but it looks like Uraeus. And what that is it's the snake that you see on the headdresses of Egyptian pharaohs. It symbolizes the third eye, Kundalini, and all that. So yeah, and I will say this real quick. Pigs are actually known to eat snakes. Anyways, there you go, Cody. I should take over.
What's known to eat snakes? I didn't catch that.
Pigs, they root
Oh,
in the ground, and if they find a snake, they'll eat it.
really? Huh.
Yeah, so it kind of backs up
Interesting.
the opposition of the pig and the snake.
Yeah, that I did not know that. I guess the pig is a bit more fierce than I thought. I think it's funny because my girlfriend's a Chinese pig and she's behind me right now. The year of the pig. Never mind. The pig year. You're born in the year of the pig. Yeah. Anyways. Bad joke on live, but yeah, so but yeah, thanks Casey so much for all of your amazing work with Mercury because again, we wouldn't be able to make a lot of these I wouldn't be able to without what you've shared over the past. So and again, the Uraeus thing is also very interesting. I just didn't have time to look into it, but and Derek, I guess we'll let you also get in here now because I know you got some Mercury stuff as well.
Oh yeah, certainly. And again, thanks to Bobby once more for being the pioneer in mercurial research dating back several years. You know, this Sean Duffy character has a lot of Mercury connections himself. Notice how he was born on October 3rd, which is written 10/3, and it was a date with 103 numerology. And 103 is the ordinal gematria of the planet Mercury. So right off the bat, he has some Mercury numbers. The airport was 1,003 months old for the crash. Talking about Reagan Airport. And the flight was going from Wichita to Washington. And Wichita is 1030, Washington is 130, just like Mercury. Now, what I wanted to tie this into, I feel like we could stop the video here and we'd have more than enough information to show, the relevance of this code in relation to this crash. But what I wanted to do is kind of show how this goes a step further, right? Because truly one of the ultimate mercurial characters of all time is actually NFL legend John Madden. And John Madden was a man who was terrified of airplanes, so much so that he drove around on a bus from city to city to broadcast the next week's game and always talked about his fear of airplanes. Mercury, the god of travelers, but also communication and messaging. And Madden was the man tasked with communicating the rules of the game of football to the audience at home. So Mercury's orbital period, 88 days, as you mentioned, this also connects to the magic square of Mercury, which is 8 by 8. And John Madden, his name equals 88. His full name, John Earl Madden, is 888. And the Madden video game franchise started in the year 88. Now, what brought me to all of this is that last night, after I finished my video, for some reason I checked Twitch for the first time in like months. And I saw that on Twitch, they were running the semifinals for the NFL Madden tournament. Every year they have a big tournament collecting all of the best players, and it culminates in this playoff series. So last night was the semifinals of this Madden tournament, and it featured a player named John Beast who made the finals. And this name John Beast sums to 888. Just like John Earl Madden. You know, John Beast, John Madden, Revelation written by a guy named John. And there's more to this too, because this guy actually stamped the number 860 on himself. See this, his gamer tag is John Beast 860. Well, the name John Beast equals 86 in ordinal. And 86 is also connected to the Mercury code because Mercury equals 86. So, when John Madden passed away back in the year 2021, it was, to this day, I haven't seen a better, more solid mercurial riddle. Madden's death fell 103 days before his birthday, matching Mercury in ordinal. And on that date, his following birthday, he would have been 86 years old, which again is Mercury in reverse. Madden's birthday is 410, and Mercury also 41, just like Madden is 41. Finally, in standard gematria, Mercury is 1228, and that is the date that John Madden passed away, 1228 or December 28th. So all of the numbers of Mercury were heavily coded into that guy's death. So how does this all relate to what happened in Washington, D.C. last night? Well, notice how it would have been 1,129 days after Madden's death. We talked about the 129, as that was the date of the crash. Black Hawk Down released 129 days after the 9/11 attacks. And Reagan Airport is a hub for American Airlines, Inc., the plane involved in the crash, 129. And just to cement John Madden's connection to the plane crash riddle, the 9/11 code, John Madden won just one Super Bowl. And he did so coaching one of the NFL's skull and bones teams, right? The Raiders. That Super Bowl was the earliest Super Bowl ever on record. It was the 9th day of the year. And it was also Super Bowl 11. Well, Super Bowl 11 on the 9th day was played 9,011 days before the 9/11 attacks. So it doesn't get much more clear that there's a strong connection here. Now, if you fast forward from the 9/11 attacks to last night's collision, you get 1,220 weeks. And 1,220 is the standard gematria of September 11th. However, this same duration of time is also 23 years and 20 weeks. This represents the digits 232. John Madden 232 standard, Madden 232 trigonal, Airplane 232 primes, a number connected to the dark arts. Satan equals 232. And in the NFL playoffs, the team from Washington, where the crash occurred, defeated another skull and bones team, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who also have the skull and crossbones for their logo. Washington won that game 23-20. And why do I mention this? Well, not only do the numbers line up, but for several years now, I've been explaining how Baker Mayfield, who is the quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, is a walking Ronald Reagan riddle. Check this out. Baker Mayfield's middle name is Reagan, spelled the same way as the former president, Ronald Reagan, spells his name. Meanwhile, Ronald Reagan's middle name is Wilson. And Wilson is the name on an NFL football that Baker Mayfield takes from center. So this game where Baker Mayfield was knocked out of the playoffs by the Washington Commanders, this game was on January 12th, or 1/12. Both Baker Mayfield and Baker Reagan Mayfield sum to 112. This matches Ronald Reagan's birthplace, Tampico 112. And if you include the end date, Ronald Reagan was exactly 1,120 months old when he died, matching Skull and Bones' nickname, the Brotherhood of Death 112. So this also brings us to the number 33, because with a loss in the playoffs, the Buccaneers were held to a total of 330 wins in franchise history. The American Airlines flight was approaching runway 33. And again, Kennedy equals 33. Runway 33 is the famous landing strip for the space shuttles at Kennedy Space Center. And just a reminder to anyone who dropped in partway through the video, RFK Jr.'s confirmation hearing took place on the same day as the crash. The crash was 33 days after the anniversary of Black Hawk Down, its premiere, which, by the way, was on 12/28, matching that Mercury date, the same date John Madden died. Black Hawk Helicopter has the 330 in reverse. And this crash was 3 years and 33 days after the death of John Madden. Both American Airlines and Ronald Reagan sum to 333. The airport in D.C. was renamed Reagan National Airport 333 lunar phases before the crash. The crash was also 30 months, 3 weeks, and 3 days after the destruction of the Georgia Guidestones, a very significant occultic symbol in Georgia in the path of the 2017 eclipse. And eclipse equals 33. Funny, I put a picture of the World Trade Center bombing when I meant to put the Guidestones. But Cody earlier mentioned on this stream that this is connected to Revelation 12:9. And I just wanted to show you something in regards to that. Just like the date of the crash, 129. But check out the reverse gematria of this Bible verse. Revelation 12:9 has gematria of 2260. Well, 226 in the same cipher is the value of airplane crash. 226. The plane was coming from Wichita, Kansas, which equals 2206. Wichita, 226 with primes. Robert Francis Kennedy, 226 in the alphabetic order. But look at this. United States Department of Transportation, whose boss was on his first day on the job, sums to 2026 and 226. So with all of these 226s, I thought, wow, there's got to be a connection to the next total solar eclipse, which happens in the year 2026. Well, sure enough, this crash was 560 days before the eclipse. 5/6, the 5th of June, is the date that Ronald Reagan died. And Ronald Reagan has matching 56 Gematria with plane crash and Washington, D.C. This also connects to the new lunation number. The 56th prime number is 263. And when John Madden died, it was 263 days after his own birthday. Both Order of the Skull and Bones and Skull and Crossbones. Each of these phrases equals 263. And on the date of the plane crash, it was the first day of Brown lunation 1263. So the last three digits in the new moon number, 263, the 56th prime number. The flight was coming from Wichita, Kansas, which equals 1262. That's the lunation number we just ended, lunation 1262.
Well, that makes sense because that was the lunation we were leaving, and that's where the plane was leaving from.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. Good way of looking at it. There's some more connections with the moon, particularly the magic square of the moon, which sums to 3321. And look at the gematria of U.S. Department of Transportation. It equals 3321 and 1233, the same three digits in reverse. So there's some more cool connections, including the number 666. But the last thing I share, I know we're coming up on an hour on this stream here, is this remarkable 1123 connection. Now, occasionally I like to pat myself on the back a little bit, and a lot of this has to do with Formula One last year. So in November, when I did my first posts on Sean Duffy becoming the new secretary, this was just a couple of days before the Grand Prix in Las Vegas in the United States. And just scanning through my post here, I did a lot of connections to this race. Well, the Las Vegas Grand Prix was held on 11/23, and it was the 1123rd Grand Prix in history. And this was the number that led me to the winner of the race, George Russell. And George Russell, the Formula One driver, he shares a name with the founder of Skull and Bones, William Huntington Russell. This driver, George William Russell, started his career with Williams. So anyway, the number 1123 also found in Transportation Secretary 1123. And just check this out. The plane crash was 11 months and 23 days after Ronald Reagan's birthday at Ronald Reagan Airport. The United States Department of Transportation, its age ended in 1123, the last four digits. The crash was 23 years, 11 days after the release of Black Hawk Down. And another big connection with John Madden here is the fact that John Madden died on the exact same day as former Senator Harry Reid. Both of these guys died on December 28th of 2021. Well, just 2 weeks before they died, the airport in Las Vegas was renamed to Harry Reid International Airport. So Las Vegas, the site of that 1123rd Grand Prix, Las Vegas also where Madden's old team, the Raiders, now play their football. And Harry Reid Airport was renamed 23 years, 10 months, and 10 days after Reagan Airport was renamed. So a little bit off the deep end here at the end, but there's definitely something to this. And again, George Russell was a 25-1 pick to win this race. And I didn't put all my money on Russell when the odds were that good. But I mean, you see how this all connects to the greater world of sports, particularly global sports like Formula One, and it's just mind blowing. But I'm about to lose my voice, so I'm gonna wrap up my part of the video there.
Yeah, and there's a few things I noticed as you were talking there. Well, first of all, 1123 is also like I always think of the Fibonacci sequence when I see that, the 1123. But another thing with going back to the Kennedy thing, I'm always reminded about the John F. Kennedy Jr. plane crash,
Yep.
and it is quite interesting that from that crash, the JFK Jr. crash to the crash yesterday was actually it was 6 months and 14 days after that anniversary, which is Trump's birthday. And I had shown that when the other plane crash happened, it was all aligned with which one was that I showed? I can't remember, but there was a huge connection with Trump and John F. Kennedy Jr.'s plane crash.
I don't know. I ran some numbers myself, and what I did notice is the 1332 in the number of weeks between these crashes, and 1332 is the first multiple of the number of the beast, which is of course found in the gematria of Kennedy. Kennedy also with the 666. So, Cody, we did lose you there for a little bit. Once more.
Oh yeah, you said exactly what I was gonna say about the 1332. So,
Oh, perfect.
um, but yeah, and then yeah, on the 666 we didn't really talk about Joseph. If you guys didn't check Joseph Aquaviva's video earlier, I don't know if you're still in here, Joseph. Um, but he talked a lot more about the 666. Of course, right now, recently we've had lots of 666 stuff going on, and it's just really been the moon landing is obviously in its 666 month, and then we had the thing with the Stargate project, which was all connected with the 666, and now we have Kobe, who was died in a helicopter crash, which equals helicopter equals 666. And Kobe was the guy who scored 81 points in his 666 game. So we couldn't forget to talk about the 666, I guess is what I was getting at.
Yeah, I just happened to complete a big mega post a couple days ago. It's an absolutely mammoth post, and it basically details all of the 666 connections with Kobe, or at least all that I could tolerate to put into one post. And it's truly remarkable how, like, his entire career, his birthday, the date he died, the teams that drafted him, the team he played for, it's all 666, all of it.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think yeah, I mean also, I don't know, Joseph is still in the chat, but I told you this earlier, Derek, but I thought this was wild. Let me take my screen back here real fast.
Sure.
So Joseph, you remember we were covering the also I want to give a big shout out to the Illusion. He's in the chat. He said he did a video earlier. So guys, make sure you guys go check out all the other decoders as well. But so Joseph, we were talking about the Stargate project and how the ciphers of the Stargate project added up to 666. And Trump just obviously just released the Stargate project. And Trump, he had an airplane cake, right? So let's go back to that slide. Can you guys see my screen? Oh no, you can't. All right, so there's my screen. We're gonna go back, and again, for those of you who are just catching up, remember Trump just released the Stargate project, and that was a few days before this. Well, and remember, just to show you guys again, Trump had the airplane cake, right? Here's his airplane cake. So I just decided to type in Trump airplane cake. Well, let's see what it equals. Joseph, do you know what those four values are? Like Trump airplane cake, 184, 275. What was the other? 76 and 104. It's a perfect match to to hold on, let me type it in. The Stargate project. Oh my goodness, what am I doing here? I'm all over the place. Hold on. It's hard to type even more now because this mic is in my way. So, hold on. But yeah, it's almost a perfect match to the Stargate project. In fact, it's only one cipher off. But I mean, come on, what's the chance Trump has an airplane cake one day before he releases the Stargate project, and the Trump airplane cake is nearly a full cipher match to it doesn't sum to 666 though because it doesn't have that 211 in there, but
Well, 666 equals 275 and
right, yeah.
211.
Right. So, yeah, that's another thing to mention too is that this all connects to the 666, 666.
You can also type out a number and hit Alt Enter, and it will spell out the number for you.
Oh, I was trying to remember how to do that. Alt Enter.
Yeah, so if you just type out 666 and then Alt Enter, I believe. Yeah, there you
Ah,
go.
nice. Okay. I'm glad I know how to do that now. Because I was looking for it in the commands like last week to do it, but I couldn't. I just didn't find it, I guess. But now I know, so that's good. But yeah, I mean, like, and the fact that his wife was wearing like, what do you think, Derek? Is that like as close as you get to?
Well, now that you mention it, it does seem, especially with the black part hanging over the arm, like the head, I do see a snake there.
Oh, I don't know, like just the curviness of it and the way that she, and this was actually tied to the Ohio. Oh,
We're going to have to pitch in and get you a new microphone again.
is it going out again, man? I don't know what's going on with this thing, man. It hasn't done it. Like it hasn't done this before. It started doing it, but I don't know why it would be doing it now. And I don't get it.
It is
But
weird.
yeah, did you hear what I said at all, or was I just talking to myself?
A little bit about the snake. I don't really remember.
Well, okay, I was gonna do a video for you guys about the Great Serpent Mound, which is located in my neck of the woods, Ohio, and yeah, so there's a big. See if I can find an actual picture of it. I guess, yeah, I guess I want to find an actual picture, but hold on. But I was gonna do a video. What I'm trying to get at is I was gonna do a video on this in connection to the dress um that his wife was wearing at the inauguration, and then I didn't get time to do it, but because actually his wife Melania, her name means black, and I just already connected all this stuff with Black Hawk, but Kobe was the black mamba, the black snake, and she was wearing a black snake. I mean that's also I didn't even make that connection. She's wearing the black snake there, a black snake. So there you go, black mamba. She's the mom, Mamba. Yeah, so there's a lot of things to maybe connect there. But yeah, so she's actually from a town in Slovenia that has a river that snakes through it. And if you look at pictures of her town she's from, not far from where I'm at now, actually. I had to drive through Slovenia to get to where I'm at now. But yeah, she has a river that snakes through. And where did this plane fall in? It fell into a river, and rivers are often connected with snakes because they often wind like snakes. So everything here seems to connect to the snake, and possibly that also connects everything to Mercury. And then you know, what Bobby was talking about earlier was the connection with the Uraeus, which there's so many deities in ancient Egypt that have this snake symbolism. So I just got to go through and look at more. But yeah, the Great Serpent Mount definitely. I can't forget. I think that might equal the same. Hmm. I guess I was thinking wrong. Oh, Serpent Mound equals 56 in that cipher. It's interesting. But yeah, that's just an addition I wanted to add. And I don't know, is there anything else you specifically want to add, Derek, or is your voice tired?
Yeah, that's about all the energy I got today, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I was gonna give Casey. Casey, are you still there? I mean, Derek, you can hang around or you can jump off, or I want to give Casey a chance to add some stuff also.
Yeah, I'm still here, man.
All right. Is
Um,
there anything
yeah.
that you want us to add still?
I think with the black stuff, you got to keep in mind that yesterday was a new moon, and I kind of you associate that with darkness,
Yep.
Uh-huh. Yeah. I didn't
and
even think about that. That
back
yesterday was the new moon, huh?
yeah. Well, I mean, it only makes sense because the Chinese New Year it begins with the new moon.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Um, and the other thing is, I'm gonna go back to 326, 327. Um, you know, we know how important 326 was to Kobe, and I don't know if I mentioned it, but when his helicopter crashed, the moon's at 326 degrees over the eclipse, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Playing some Call of Duty
I
over there? What's
was
going on?
I had to crank my truck up, move it a little bit. I'm in the way, in somebody's way.
He's playing
But
Mercury.
yeah. Oh, speaking of that, I got a second job at FedEx, so I'm a double courier, double messenger there. But yeah, with the 326, hopefully I can remember this. Of course, the Pentagrammaton, the five-letter Hebrew word for Jesus, is 326, and the moon when Kobe Bryant's helicopter crashes at 326 degrees of the eclipse, and then I mentioned earlier that we're on a solid sidereal count from his death, 67 sidereal phases. That's when the moon comes back around to the same position relative to the stars, which is the definition of a sidereal. And so if you throw a chart to the time of crash, it's at 327 degrees of the eclipse, less than 1 degree away from where it was when Kobe died. And currently Trump's 326 Mercury years old, and as Cody's mentioned, he's coming up on 327, March 17th, right? St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yeah, it's Sean Patrick Duffy, St. Patrick's
Oh, there you
Day.
go. Yeah,
Interesting.
and then the other thing to keep in mind is that I was looking at the 28th because another reason I was looking at it is because JFK, he turned 39,326 days old that day. So you go to the 29th, he's 39,327 days old yesterday. Um, Also, Cody pointed out something pretty uh, fascinating. I thought is if you cast a chart again, the same chart for yesterday's crash, the minutes and seconds for Venus are 53:42, just like the flight method. Did you catch that?
It dipped out briefly,
Maybe did that dip out?
just for a few seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, Cody mentioned that if you look at again, you look at the astrology chart for the plane crash yesterday. The minutes and seconds for the degree that Venus was at was 53 minutes, 42 seconds. That 53:42.
Yeah, let me see if I can.
Yeah, I sent you a screenshot of that or a image of that in the Discord.
Cause that I thought that was pretty wild. Derek, I thought I shared that with you too, didn't I?
Sorry, which one?
Uh, that the thing happened, when the collision happened, the Venus was at the exact flight number.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm surprised that didn't come up. Yeah, it was at 53 degrees and 42 minutes, I think.
Hold on a second. Let me get this. I can get the image just a second so that people can see what we're talking about. Um, let me get this image. All right, guys. So this is. I don't know if I can make it big enough. Hold on. Let me just duplicate it. Yeah, so you guys can see what he's talking about here. I don't know if you guys in the chat are even paying attention at this point, but you guys can see that this
And
crash, flight.
Cody, remember that it was flight 2216 that went down the same day Jimmy Carter died, and yesterday Kamala Harris, she turned 22,016 days old, right? So that's
Right, right.
another tie into Venus there.
Guys, my mic is out so much. I keep trying to say something, but it's going in and out so much. Anyways, um, you guys can see here. Can you guys?
Well, it's a little small, but we can make it out. Yeah, Venus was in Pisces, and there it says at the time of the crash, 53 degrees, 42 minutes. And that is the same exact four digits in the same order as the flight number that went down, 5342 for American Airlines.
Yeah, 5342 flight, and then here is Venus at 5342. I mean, come on. I don't know if the people in the chat are comprehending that, but that's pretty wild. And remember, Venus was at a pretty specific location during 9/11 too. So yeah, something up with. Actually, also I had did a measurement earlier, and something had come out to exactly 30 Venus years to this crash yesterday. I just don't remember what it was. So there's definitely a Venus riddle here as well, as always. But and then what, Derek? Did you hear what he was saying about Kamala?
Yeah, so she must have been 22,160 days old. I noticed that when you write out Ronald Reagan Washington National Airport, the airport's official name, it sums to 2215, just one
Uh,
short of 2216, but there it is.
yeah, but she was she was 22,016
Wow.
days old on this thing. And what was the last crash, guys? I want to see some chat participation. What was the last airplane number that crashed in Korea last month? Let me see if the chat's still alive here. Kamala was 2216 days old yesterday. I mean, that answers the question for you guys, but anyways, like that is pretty wild. So Kamala is still
And too that 22 V is the 22nd letter, P is the 16th letter, so you have a VP. She was the vice president.
Huh.
I always think
right.
that's important to point out.
Yeah, that is a good point. And I also find it funny she was kind of pi. She has the pi digits in her age yesterday as well. 3145. Those are the first, 31415. You still have that in there. So that maybe pointing again to Pi Day. I did have a slide about Pi Day actually. Um oh, another interesting thing with Casey. you're. Oh, no, maybe this wasn't the one I was thinking of. Anyway, it was 62 days from the last big crash in the United States that they listed was in 2001, and it was November 12th. That was 62 days after 9/11, which is the Gematria of airplane crash.
Nice.
So, and then that 62, that was how many lunar phases Kobe after his death till yesterday. And again, I emphasize that 62 with the president of Tyler Perry Studios, Steve Mensch, perfectly connected to Trump. And yeah, just watch out for Trump. I mean, this St. Patrick's Day is super interesting now. Think about it. We have Patrick Mahomes and we have Patrick Duffy. And now the next Mercury birthday for Trump points to St. Patrick's Day. So that seems to be our next watch date. I mean, that's around. I mean, we're already watching the Pi Day eclipse. So I mean, maybe that's just well, heck, that's interesting because that would be 3 days after the Pi eclipse, just like the plane crash yesterday was 3 days after Kobe Bryant's death. So that could be interesting. And don't forget that day, March 17th, is the plane crash day because if you write that internationally, it's 173, like plane crash. So
Well, hey Cody, I'm coming up on 90 minutes here, so I'm gonna close my stream out, especially because it's like 55 degrees in Milwaukee in January, so I feel like getting outside a little bit.
yeah,
Hopefully,
go ahead, man.
getting some fresh air and feeling a little better.
Yeah, I hope you feel better and thanks for coming on once again and sharing everything and appreciate having you on and again hope you feel better.
Yeah, I think another day or two I'll be back to normal. Great stuff on your end as well. I think with all this plane crash stuff that came up, especially since it all started basically on a date we predicted, it's been pretty remarkable. So yeah, great hour again, and we'll do it again soon.
Yep, we'll see you soon. Take care.
All right, thanks everybody. Until next time, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace, love, God bless.
And I don't know, I'm feeling a bit I see the illusion is in the chat, so maybe it's been a while since me and him have got together. I don't know if you want to jump on for a little bit, illusion, and I know you have some stuff you might want to share. Um, but yeah, illusion, if you're in the chat and you want to jump on, let me know. Casey Jones, you can still chime in. I'm going to be on for another 20 minutes or so maybe.
Hey, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, he was born in a pig year. So he may be somebody to watch out for. And
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, right? That guy?
yeah, he might be somebody to watch out for. And I had a kind of a weird synchronicity today. I was uh, talking to a customer. She's saying how she's from Florida, kind of the Everglades area, and that they have a real bad problem with pythons down there in the Everglades because they're an invasive species. They're not native, and they're taking out a lot of the native species there. And it reminds me of one of Trump's 2016 slogans, drain the swamp. But the thing about that is, it's kind of a joke on his constituents or his supporters, because if you think about Florida, they did drain the swamp so they could put up more real estate, so they could put up more houses, right? And what is Trump's profession? He's really big into real estate. So essentially, he's draining the swamp so he can benefit himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Figuratively speaking, that's what he's doing. Um, and then also, you think about the time that he was in office, 2016, 2020. About right in the middle of that, you had the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas shooting, and that was, again, to me, that was kind of poking fun at that whole drain the swamp thing, because that was her. You could say that was her life's mission, was to prevent the draining of the swamp, was to preserve the Everglades. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. Oh, one more thing, and then going back to the 326s again. Maybe Adam the Illusion will come on in the next little bit. Again, Kobe's connected to Philadelphia with the 326. Of course, not only was he from Philadelphia, but he's connected through Dr. J. Dr. J, similar to Kobe Bryant, wore only 2 numbers in his career. He wore the numbers 32 and 6. Just how Kobe wore the numbers 24 and 8. And then what really drives it home is that if you go look at Dr. J's career points total, it's 30,026 points. Yeah.
Yep, I'm seeing it here.
And, he spent most of his career with the Philadelphia 76ers. So 32 and 6.
Can you hear me?
I hear you now.
Yeah, my mic's cutting out. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's crazy. That's still I always find that really crazy. I mean, 30,026 points, and he wore the numbers 3 and 26. That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's funny, you just had that Snakes on the Plane poster pulled up. It looks like the Caduceus, and here we are talking about a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's so clear that they designed this. So now the illusion. Sorry.
Hey, I'll hop off and let Adam take over. Catch you guys later.
Thanks, man.
Hey, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right, how you doing? All good? So I'm looking at your screen right now, and you're talking about the 201, yeah? With the connection with the 129?
Yep, exactly. Yep.
Which is a profound connection. So I'll give you some 201s. I know you know a lot of them, but I think I've got a few people might not know, hopefully. So when we think about 201, I think it all goes to Revelation 21. Do you know what that verse is?
Revelation 21.
Yeah, it's all about this verse. If you want to go to it, Revelation 21. I'll let you bring it up on the screen so people can see it.
All right.
And God bless all of you in your chat.
Yeah, man, it's great to have you on.
Cheers, brother. Thank you for allowing it. So, yeah, Revelation 21, it says, "And I saw an angel come down from heaven, having the key of the bottomless pit and a great chain in his hand." This is what all the 201's about. So we know Trump's first day in office was 21, wasn't it? It was the 20th of January. And Event 201 foreshadowed the global pandemic back in 2019 on 10/18, obviously connected to Luke 10/18. Like, even Baron Trump, his height is 2.01 meters. It's like, what isn't coded in this world? So we're told that man stepped foot on the moon on the 201st day of 1969, exactly 666 months before Trump was inaugurated. And Buzz Aldrin, he was born on 21, wasn't he?
Yep.
Okay, the man who supposedly stepped foot on the moon. And Neil Alden Armstrong equals 201. The World Trade Center originally had 2 buildings, became 0, and now it's 1, like 201. Pope resided in Suite 201 in the Vatican. Messi resided in Hotel Room 201 in Qatar, and Argentina had a 201 record in the group stage. Catherine the Great, we're told, saved 201 Jesuits. Neuralink was founded a span of exactly 20 weeks and 1 day before Donald Trump won the 2016 US presidential election. Albert Pike predicted 3 world wars. He was born on 12/29, the 201st prime. Who died on 12/29? Pele, who's the only footballer to ever win 3 World Cups for another 3. Pele. Brady, his last Super Bowl, he threw for 201 yards. So there's all these 201s. And I just wanted to show you that it connects. It's about that verse for me.
And don't forget that last plane crash we had was on 12/29 too.
That's a great point.
Korean.
And the 12/29 connects to Benjamin Netanyahu as well, doesn't it?
Yep.
And we know his connections with Trump. So yeah, for me, I don't know if you've covered this because I didn't watch all of your stream, but this helicopter crash connects to the Super Bowl. Did you catch all the connections?
I talked a lot about, well, I would say I talked a lot about the Super Bowl, but I definitely did graze over it because I
Okay.
was talking about Mahomes and stuff like that, but go ahead.
Yeah. So going back to Netanyahu, who was sworn in as Israel's prime minister again in 2022 on 12/29. Literally on the day Pele died, Netanyahu was sworn in as Israel's prime minister again. So that's important. Right. So this is just what I caught. I've pretty much covered it in my video that I did today on my stream. But if you look at this crash, it involved an American Eagle jet. Yeah. So the Eagle.
Right.
And you'll know that the bald eagle just officially became the national bird of the US, didn't it, on Christmas Eve?
Yep.
And now you've got the Eagles in the Super Bowl. So this is what it says. It says American Eagle Flight 5342, which was coming from Wichita, Kansas, was carrying 60 passengers and 4 crew members, American Airlines said in a statement. All right, so it's coming from Kansas, and it was an American Eagle jet. You see that?
Yep.
It's the Kansas City Chiefs, the Eagles.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to be meeting in Super Bowl 59. Revelation 5:9, and they sung a new song saying, "Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seals thereof, for thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to God by the blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation." So it says, "Thou art worthy to take the book." Now, the Chiefs have a solid player who might step up in this Super Bowl. His name's Xavier Worthy. All right, Worthy is the Lamb. Like, there's something to these people's names. It's not just the gematria, it's the actual biblical connection with their names as well. So keep an eye on him. Now, the crash was on the 29th day of the year. The Super Bowl's on 2/9, isn't it? On Saquon Barkley's birthday, the Eagles superstar who wears the black Mamba earrings, number 26. Right? And Mahomes is looking to three-peat. And this Black Hawk helicopter, there were 3 people on board. All right, there was 3. And you'll know all of this. We've covered this a million times, but Philadelphia beat Washington to win the NFC. 666 win for Eagles, kept Washington on 666 all-time wins. 666, the number of the beast in Revelation 13:18. Now, doesn't that tell you that the NFL has been coded from the very beginning? Like, ever since it was founded. Like, this is not something that, people say that, again, they've got to be careful of this. They're like, well, now gambling's become legal in the US. Like, it's all about Vegas. It's not. That's a trap from the devil, guys. Anybody telling you this is misleading you. All of this has already been written. This is why they talk about a script in sports. It's already written. It's already determined. It doesn't mean the players, coaches know. All right? It doesn't mean they even know. It doesn't mean they know about gematria, numerology, the code, the Bible. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So, Revelation. 12-9. No, go on, brother. You're about to speak.
I was just gonna say, you know, just I don't know if you saw this before, what Casey pointed out, but you know, this is just more how long these things have been coded and how perfectly they're coded. Because
Yeah,
the guy who wears numbers 3 and 26 in the league, his final point total was 30,026 points, so 326.
it's incredible, isn't it? And I overheard him talk about Kareem, and the Chiefs have a player called Kareem Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So keep an eye on him as well. Like, he's been doing really well. He's number 29, and he got the first touchdown for the Chiefs against the Bills, and now they're going to be playing in the Super Bowl on 2-9. He's 29 years old as well, this Kareem Hunt.
Oh, he's 29 too, is he?
He's 29 years old, and he's number 29. And he got the first touchdown in the game where the Chiefs beat Buffalo. And you were talking about Patrick Mahomes. I just left a comment saying Josh Allen's middle name's Patrick.
Yeah.
And so is Brady's. Brady's full name is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. So the word Patrick has the word trick in it, doesn't it? Magic Mahomes, all of that.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's even crazier about this, because I told you, as I showed in this video, Trump's Mercury birth because flight 30 on his 302nd Mercury birthday. Now, during his 326th Mercury birthday, we have many.
I think you're having issues, brother.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
My mic went out again, but so did you hear what I said about the 302 Mercury birthday, or when did it cut out?
Cut out about halfway through it, brother. You're going to have to repeat it again.
Okay, so let me just show you real fast so I can prove that these Mercury birthdays for Trump are when these things go down. And why would this go perfectly with what you just said?
Because it's all
Because
coded. It's all perfectly coded.
yeah, but it goes perfectly because you're talking about Patrick,
Yes.
right? And what is Mercury? The trickster. Okay.
Yep. And 3 is the
And
magic number, and he's looking at 3-peat.
right. And so let me see if I can find this here. So here it is. This is Trump turned 302 Mercury years old on the flight of 302 crashing, right? Mercury, the god of transportation and trickery.
Yeah.
Okay, then, so what's the chance of that? 302 Mercury years in that flight crash as well. As soon as he turned 326 Mercury years, which was just last month on December 19th, we had the crash on Dion Dawkins' property on his 326th Mercury birthday. And in Satanic Gematria, Dawkins equals 326. But now, 40 days after his 326th Mercury birthday, we have this crash for yesterday, and Mercury equals 40. 40 days after his Mercury birthday, Mercury equals 40. And they just happened to title the crash on Wikipedia the 2025 Potomac River mid-air collision, which equals 326. And that's how many years Mercury is right now. That's how many Mercury years Trump is right now.
It's amazing
But,
stuff.
but
I could add to that if you want. Just
well,
incredible stuff. You go way deeper into astrology than I do, but I find it really interesting. So you're talking about the 326, yeah?
Right. Yep.
So you know the AFC and NFC championships was on the 5-year death anniversary of Kobe and Gianna. It's January the 26th, yeah. Now you're talking about 326, and 3 touchdowns were scored by number 26, Barkley, whose birthday's on the Super Bowl. You got 3 touchdowns wearing number 26, so you're 326 again.
Yeah.
So it's just everything's completely divinely coded. And you mentioned 40, yeah, about Mercury.
Oh yeah.
Well, what airport are they talking about with this crash?
Yeah, the 40th president. I had that in here.
Oh, you've
right
already
here.
got that, yeah. So it's the 40th president, and obviously you mentioned that the Super Bowl is the 40th day of the year, yeah.
Yep.
All right. Do you know that
because
the Eagles come in 17-3? Did you catch that?
Yeah, I did. I just didn't put it in here, but I should have put it in there because that actually ties in with the with this Mercury thing, because do
The
you know
40th
this
prime,
crash
innit?
yesterday? This crash yesterday was 173 days after Trump's emergency landing.
Wow. Wow.
And
And the 173 is the 40th prime number. That's what I was trying to say.
right, yeah, right here. That's what I got here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
All this stuff connects with the 40, man. That was like one of the biggest numbers. And not to mention, if you go from yesterday's crash to the anniversary of Trump's 302 Mercury birthday plane crash,
Yeah.
it's also 40 days.
Yeah, and Tom Brady, you know, the GOAT, he won his last Super Bowl against the Chiefs and Mahomes, yeah? And
Yeah.
he retired and he came out of retirement originally 40 days after. You know that?
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
It's all about the Bible. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the 40, like
40
Satan
days,
tempted
40
Jesus,
nights.
40 days and 40 nights. It's about restoration and renewal is the number 40 in the Bible. There's so many examples of it. Remember, like the Great Flood, the reign of the Great Flood lasted 40 days and 40 nights. Bible says Jesus is going to return. It's like the second days of Noah. You've got the Noahide laws. You've got Trump's first day in office, exactly 8 years after his first day in office, and God saved 8 people after the flood. Moses spent 40 years tending flocks in the desert. All right. Goliath taunted the Israelites for 40 days. Everything, what I want to show people with my work, which I believe God's guiding me, is everything goes back to the Bible, Cody. And you're unbelievable at what you do. You are, but everything goes back to the Bible. All these numbers, okay, we connect them with secret societies, with the occult, with the Kabbalah. It goes back to the Bible. Everything goes back to the Bible, even with the Chiefs and Eagles game, like all of it. And Trump, in it, the 7 trumpets, the final trump. This is why everyone needs to study the Bible. Like Gematria is incredible. Number properties are amazing. But if you want to know what's going on in the world and where we are, you need to get inside of the Bible, like deep. Not you, I'm talking about the world. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
where's the Super Bowl being played?
Yeah, New Orleans.
Yeah, which is the home stadium of which team?
Yeah, the Saints.
Right? And the 5th seal is part of the book of Revelation. It describes the martyrdom of saints for the second coming of Christ. That's why it's in the Saint Stadium, right? This is the 5th seal. Remember, Kobe won 5 out of 7 NBA finals. Okay, there's 7 seals in total, so 5 out of 7. Mahomes is going back to the Super Bowl. All right, 5th time in 7 years as a starter. The Chiefs head coach, Andy Reid, Big Red, his birthday is 319, which is Derek Chauvin's birthday. 3 times 19, 57. All right, it's all about the Bible. So it's in the home of the Saints, and it's going to be the Eagles' 5th Super Bowl appearance because they're 1-3 as far as I'm aware, and the Chiefs are looking for their 5th Super Bowl victory. All right, so the 5's at play there, and it's because the 5th seal is the martyrdom of the saints. It's the persecution of the saints who die for the faith in Jesus. That's coming, which is why you'll start seeing immense persecution worldwide and in the West. It's already going on in the Middle East. So that's something I really wanted to share with you. It's in that stadium because of the 5th seal. All right. Why do you think, brother, the AFC and NFC championship games were on what? The 5-year death anniversary of Kobe. So people need to start realizing what this 5 is. We talk about the V for Vendetta with Trump. V is 5 in Roman numerals. That's why he had like a V on his cheek after he supposedly got shot. Okay, the 5 is the 5th seal. That's what it is. I know a lot of people are like, what is this 5? It's that. Why do you think
Yeah.
the presidential election was on 11-5? 11 is the 5th prime number.
Yeah, and I
think you cut out, brother.
don't know if you caught how much I've been talking about 5 because
Yeah, I have.
Pope was open.
I also think this is spiritual wickedness that you're getting cut off. I don't think it's just the mic. Your work is really powerful right now, Cody. So yeah, the 5s are really big. It's why Jaden Daniels won number 5 and he lost to the Eagles, and Jalen Hurts got his 5th playoff win. Brady won Super Bowl 55. The Eagles beat Washington with 55 points, exactly 5 years after Kobe died, who was born in Philadelphia. Okay, you can also look at the 5th church of Revelation. So it's just a shame that YouTube cuts you off, or your microphone. So yeah, guys, can you hear me in the chat? Can you guys hear me? So yeah, when you say that that YouTube hates the truth, guys, it's Satan. Let's not focus on the flesh. It's Satan. Satan's the father of lies. He came to kill, steal, and destroy. Satan's the prince of the air. He plays with the airwaves. All right. Of course, he doesn't want us spreading the truth, but the biggest thing he fears is preaching the gospel. All right. I just want to try and help you here, guys. It's preaching the gospel. Like, there's a lot of really gifted minds in this chat, incredibly gifted minds, and you have a gift with identifying numbers and patterns and symbols, but that ain't going to save you on Judgment Day. All right. What Satan fears is preaching the gospel. All right. He'll let us sit here for 3 or 4 hours and talk about numbers and disasters and how crazy is it that Kobe's highest scoring game was his 666 game, and he had a 666 workout plan. And he died at 497 months and 3 days old, the 666 prime. And he made his NBA debut at age 18, 6 + 6 + 6. All right. And we can go on and we can tell everybody about these 666 connections. But what does it even mean? It's Revelation 13:18. It's the number of the beast. That's what you need to be telling people. Okay, because if you just give them all this information and you say, well, the Eagles got to the Super Bowl, they got the 666 win, they beat Washington, who stayed on 666 wins, Kobe was born in Philadelphia, and all of that, okay, it's not helping anybody. It's just interesting. It's entertaining. What you need to do is to lead people to repentance. I am telling you right now, time is short. Look what's going on every day. There's something huge going on every day in the world, and it's biblical. The fact is, people don't know it's biblical because they don't know the Bible, right? There's so many gifted YouTubers. They will reveal all the darkness in the world, but they won't tell you where the light is. Jesus is the light of the world. He can save you, all right? Numbers won't save you. Gematria won't save you. Numerology won't save you. It just won't. All right. So anyways, I was down that road, guys. I absolutely loved myself and sports and coding and gambling, and I'm the best coder in the world and all of that. And I was entertained by it. Listen, now is the time, guys. It's 2025, 25, which is 5 times 5, the 5th seal, the persecution of the saints. You do not want to accept this chip, guys. The 666. It's about the chip. It's going to connect to Neuralink. Going to be in your right hand or your forehead. All right, that's why all of these celebrities and athletes are pointing to the temple. It's why that Eagles fan just died, who was a student at Temple. All right, because they're going to build the 3rd temple. All right, and that's where the Antichrist is going to reveal himself as the son of perdition. God's going to send out strong delusions. And if you deny Christ as your Lord and Savior, you will accept the Antichrist. You might tell yourself right now, no, I won't. There's no chance. You will, because it says God will send out strong delusions that you will believe a lie. And how many people believe Trump, for example? All right, that he's going to make America great again. MAGA is the highest degree of Satanism. MAGA is a female witch. All right, he ain't going to save your country. He ain't going to prevent World War III. He ain't going to save the world. He is a snake. That's why he read that snake poem out. You were talking about snakes on a plane. All right. When was that released? 2006. What happened in 2006? Kobe's 666 game. What else happened? Gianna Bryant was born. What else happened? Germany was hosting the World Cup where Messi and Ronaldo scored their first ever World Cup goals 1 day apart. It's just coded. Satan's the snake. Go back to Genesis. He is the snake that tempted Adam and Eve. All right? Adam and Eve rebelled against the word of God. It brought sin into the world. The wages of sin are death. But Jesus Christ, who is God, died on the cross so we can be saved. His crucifixion, resurrection, and blood saves us. If you don't accept that, you die in your sin. You go to the lake of fire for eternity, separated from the love of God. So that's where Satan wants you to go. He's going there. It's written. He knows the Bible. We see that because he tempted Jesus 40 days and 40 nights. All right? So I just wanted to break that down. I know some of you don't believe in the word of God, but now's the time you better start at least reading it. All right? At least read it. Because you watch movies. All right? You watch me and Cody and Joseph stream for 3 hours. Why don't you read the Bible 10, 15, 20 minutes a day? Because the word of God's written in all of your heart and it's suppressed. Okay? They say they suppress the truth in unrighteousness. When you understand the Bible, it gives you wisdom, right? Gematria, numerology, it gives you knowledge. Knowledge won't save a man. It's wisdom and the blood of the Lamb, all right? So I've got to go, Cody. I can't really hear you. I think your chat is amazing. But if you want to support me on my channel, guys, I'm going to lead you to the word of God, all right? For me, I don't care if the Chiefs win it and people say, oh, I've just won 50 grand off your pick illusion. Okay. Enjoy. You ain't going to buy your way to heaven. You ain't buying your way out of the lake of fire. So, Cody, are you still there? I know I get a little bit animated and passionate. I just love the word of God, and I've been saved by him. And originally, he led me to numbers. Don't let anybody tell you guys that numbers is the occult. Gematria is the occult. You shouldn't study this. It depends why you're studying it. Is it just to win money? Is it to come across as really intelligent to your peers? Or is it because you want to get closer to your Father in heaven? All right. God bless all of you guys. I'm a passionate guy. I love Christ. And I think the most loving act you can do is preach the gospel. I really do. I believe it's the most loving act you can do is preach the gospel. Because soon you won't be able to do it on YouTube. You won't be able to do it in the street. Okay. We're going to be persecuted for it. And then people are going to be in fear because they don't know the word of God. They're going to accept the mark. All right. Believing that, hey, it's just an advancement in technology because they love the world. But I'm not of this world. All right. My home's in heaven. And I want every single one of you watching going there. All right. I really do. Your information code is unbelievable. But that old serpent is all about Revelation 12:9. All right. That is why the helicopter crash was on 129. Revelation 12:9, 129. And the great dragon was cast out. That old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth and his angels were cast out with him. So Satan's here. He's the God of this world in the Bible. The fallen angels are here. All right. That's why Hollywood is in Los Angeles, the angels. But that's Revelation 12:9. It talks about the great dragon, the old serpent, which is the devil, Satan. We've just gone from the year of the dragon to the year of the snake, which began on 129. It's why Messi, that serpent, has 129 Champions League goals. It's why he signed for Inter Miami, who were founded on 129. The code is profound. It really is. But where's it leading you? I want it to lead you to salvation. So, Cody, you still there? I don't want to take over your live stream because I have a really, really big mouth. Are you still there? I did not want to take over it. All right, so you were talking about 32 as well, Cody, with Trump, which was profound. The Chiefs beat the Bulls with 32 points. Brady retired 32nd day of the year. There's 32 teams in the NFL. Kobe's jersey numbers, 8 and 24 gets you 32. 824 is when Ukraine declared its independence. It's when Vince McMahon was born, when Bray Wyatt died, all right, which was super biblical. He played football at college, all right. He was the Fiend, which is a demon, all right. It's wild. It's wild. All of this is wild, and more is being revealed. And people ask me, they say, why? Why is everything being revealed? Why is so much being revealed? It's because we're living out Revelation. It's the 66th and final book of the Bible. Why do you think we've got the doomsday clock? Why do you think the doomsday clock is 89 seconds to midnight? 89. Taylor Swift was born in 89. She just won Album of the Year for Midnights at the 66 Grammys in the crypto arena. The Lakers stadium, guys, the Laker Fire. All right. And she's going to be at Super Bowl 59 and she's going to be cheering on Travis Kelce, okay, who was born in Westlake. Remember when the Lakers had Westbrook? Okay. It is just all coded. Taylor Swift loves snakes. She's obsessed with snakes. It's the serpent. It's why they stick their tongue out. All right. Why Michael Jordan would dunk and stick his tongue out. It's the serpent. You watch a snake, the tongue's always out. That serpent, guys, is the devil. It's the devil.
Hello.
There you go, Cody. Sorry, brother. I took over there only because you disappeared. But now you're back like Houdini. Can you hear me? Brother? When I see CR, I just think Christ the Redeemer. That's what I'm looking at. Some people might think Colorado Rockies. Are you there? Or Cristiano Ronaldo? Are you there, brother? Because this is your stream, not mine. I just wanted to listen to you. So yeah, guys, the snake symbolism is really, really deep. It's super deep. And when Trump read out that snake poem, okay, you knew I was a snake, but then you let me in. You can't ignore this stuff. You just can't. And we're living out, like we're literally living out the end of days. Right? And remember, the doomsday clock is 89 seconds to midnight. 89 seconds is 1 minute, 29 seconds, 129. And I'll say it again, Revelation 12:9, 129, and the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent, called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. But I'm not of this world anymore. He did deceive me. I'm not of this world. I don't fear death. I don't fear persecution, any of that. I know my home's in heaven. All right. When he talks about deceiving the whole world, it's those people who love the world because they don't love Christ, who himself said he's not of this world. His kingdom's in heaven. So Taylor Swift, all right, favorite number 13, born with 18 days left in the year. Revelation 13:18. Here is wisdom. All right. You get wisdom from the word of God, not from university. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. Remember Kobe, they called him a beast on the court. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. Now, Trump has every 666 connection there is. All right. Chiefs are going to play the Eagles, Super Bowl 59, inside the stadium of the Saints, and Taylor Swift is attending. Deuteronomy 28:49. The Lord shall bring a nation against thee from far, from the end of the earth, as swift as the eagle, guys, flieth, a nation whose tongue thou shalt not understand. It's deep. Taylor Swift, born in 89, 24th prime, all right, dominates the 2024 Grammys at Crypto Arena, which were in LA on 2424. X, the 24th letter of the alphabet. X marks the spot. Okay? And X is a mark. Russia invades Ukraine exactly 24 months after Kobe's memorial. LeBron James becomes the all-time leading point scorer in the history of the NBA at age 38 on the 38th day of the year, scoring 38 points, exactly 24 months after Tom Brady won his last Super Bowl against the Chiefs. 3 times 8 is 24. Right? Kobe's jersey number. We can just aim it at Kobe. Kobe, for whatever reason, connects to the end times. What happened after Kobe Bryant died, guys? What happened after Kobe died? 2020. Look at the world since Kobe died. It's been flipped upside down. Kobe Bryant's taken more shots than anybody in the history of the NBA. And then he dies right before coronavirus is declared a pandemic, where the governments are pushing you to get a shot. It was a shooting guard. Shooting connects to vaccines, but also connects to war. Right? Wardle Stephen Curry wins the NBA Finals with the Warriors the year that Ukraine is invaded by Russia. All right, this guys, this ain't a group of just goofy ass men who are sat down in a little room putting riddles together to manipulate the public. All right, do you know what I'm saying? This is beyond man. So Satan wants you to believe with the Chiefs. Oh, the Chiefs are going to go back to the Super Bowl again. They're going to three-peat because of the officials. Why do they love Kansas? Why do they love Mahomes? Is it anything to do with Mahomes being born on the anniversary of the NFL being founded? Is it anything to do with the chief in commander? Or the biblical verses about the chief? Or Kansas, the Wizard of Oz? Dorothy's from Kansas? All right? It ain't the officials. You give too much credit to man. I heard people talking about this helicopter crash. Oh, there they go, the Freemasons again. They've just come up with this helicopter crash. Why? Why? To cause chaos? People just go about their business, guys. Every single day, something major happens. They wake up, they go about their business. They wake up, they work their 9 to 5. They do whatever they've got to do. They run their errands, and then something else wild happens. All right? You've got to start seeing this. Yeah, corona means crown, right? Now, coronavirus was declared a global pandemic on 3/11. This date was biblical. So corona translates to crown. Declared a pandemic on 3/11, March the 11th. Revelation 3:11 states, behold, I come quickly. This is about Jesus Christ. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. All right? Your crown is your salvation. Don't let anybody take that from you. All right? This world is fallen, and it's going to take your home, all right, your car, your job, your ability to function in society. But don't let Satan take your crown. All right? That's why they called him King Kobe, and you've got King James with LeBron. The king is Jesus, is the King of Kings, is the Lord of Lords, and he's coming back, and he's going to judge all of us, living and dead. He's not going to care what your hit rate's like in sports using Gematria. He's not going to care how many subs you have or how much money you have. He's going to set the whole world on fire in the Bible. He comes on a white horse, fire in his eyes, and a sword. His name is King of Kings and Lord of Lords. All right? And he's going to judge the whole earth, living and dead. And you'll go to heaven if you've accepted Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior. You believe that his blood cleanses all of your sins. Or you'll spend eternity in the lake of fire because you denied the truth. And you'll be tormented with that for eternity. This is the reality of the Bible. This is no joke. Don't let Satan convince you that Jesus doesn't exist, or he doesn't exist, or eternal life doesn't exist. That we just randomly hear, and we just hear, all right, and then we just die, and that's it. Come on, guys. I used to think that. I was a fool. The Bible calls me a fool for thinking like that. I was foolish. All right. But I've accepted I was a fool. I've accepted I was an egomaniac. All right. You've got to do that. Most people would rather be manipulated than accept they've been manipulated. Accept it, that you've been deceived by the serpent, who's the God of this world, but you can be redeemed by the blood of Jesus, the blood of the Lamb. It's why CD Lamb is so good for Dallas. CD Lamb. Whose last name is Lamb? All right. Tell me a person you know whose last name is Lamb. So, again, I really want Cody to take over. This is his stream. Some of you might find me offensive here. You might think I'm too animated. Cody's super calm. That's why I love his presentation style. He's super calm. Can you take over, Cody?
Can you hear me? Can you?
I can hear you, brother. Yeah, I can now. Yeah. But you keep going in and out, brother. You keep going in and out. You're talking about this collision, and AEW just had a pay-per-view called Collision. It's just all connected. It just really is all connected. And it's beyond man. That's why Isaiah 55:8 says, his thoughts are not like ours.
I think it's
we can't comprehend the mind of God.
I don't know what's going on with this mic, man.
I can hear you now, Cody.
Oh, you can hear me?
Yeah, keep talking, brother. And
Okay, yeah, good. I don't know what's going on. This is ridiculous right now.
it's
I
spiritual
literally
wickedness, brother. It's spiritual wickedness. Why would the microphone sometimes work then stop working? It's either faulty and doesn't work, or it's all good. It's spiritual wickedness because you are exposing darkness and demons, and they don't like it, brother. That's all it is. They hate the truth. When people say, "Oh, YouTube hates the truth," the algorithm's demonic. All right. They want to take away our motivation to preach the truth. Don't let them win. They've already lost. They're going to perish. They know that. They're weak. All right. They fear Jesus Christ, the demons. And guys, you can't just say, I believe in Jesus because demons believe in Jesus. All right. Don't mean that's saved. Are you still there, Cody? So, guys, pray for Cody. I have these issues. I get my streams cut off. I get demonetized. They take away subs and likes to try and take away my motivation. I ain't doing it for me anymore. I used to do it for me and my ego, my bank account. All right. God willing, he'll get his microphone fixed. Because what Cody's doing, guys, is he's been given a gift by God. Cody didn't go to university where he studied gematria, numerology, and symbolism and the occult. All right. God gave him the gift. He might not fully know that, but God gave him the gift. He's given me the gift. Many of you in the chat. All right. But we often want to take credit for our own gifts. Guys, you wouldn't even have life if it wasn't for God. You wouldn't even have life. Are you aware of that? You wouldn't be here. Everything that you love and have, you wouldn't have without God. Right? We're so consumed with worshiping the creation, yet we deny the almighty creator who's going to judge us all, guys. That's why there's that judgment day in WWE right now. Now, I understand it's very, very difficult for everybody to process this. It's hard. We live in a fallen world. We work 9 to 5. We have relationships. We have stresses. All right. The economy is completely collapsing. We want to be entertained. All right. So we don't really want to keep up with everything. But I'm telling you right now, why do you think Pentagon has just gone to WWE? Pentagon. And now we have this crash in Washington where the Pentagon was. All right. He just randomly comes at age 39 and stars in wrestling a few weeks ago. Every single thing's coded, but there's only a handful of people that can connect it all. So what you guys need to do, and many of you are amazing at this, is just share it, but also you got to preach the gospel. Because you've got to know, you all know this, you've been there. If you're a gifted coder, you've been there where you make all these connections, you're blown away, you want to tell the world, and 99% are like, what are you talking about, you nut job? You're crazy. You're just throwing numbers together. All right, tell me the winning lottery numbers. All right, how come you got a sports pick wrong 3 weeks ago? Obviously, it's not perfect. There can't be any substance to these numbers. All right, so you're trying to impress people with numbers, but we can't predict everything with these numbers. The Bible tells us what happened, what's going to happen. The word of God's written in all your heart. Gematria and numerology is not. Okay? So what we have to do is preach. If we can use numbers, all right, and codes and symbols and expose the darkness, awesome, as long as it leads you to the light. Satan infiltrates everything, including numbers, symbols, all right, the Bible. Everything it infiltrates, he puts it in reverse. The human body. That's why people don't know what gender they are anymore. Okay? He inverts everything. It's why NASA count down. They don't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. They count down. It does everything in reverse. He's a coward. He's weak. He's lost. But he only has power if you allow him to have power over you. But he has no power over Jesus Christ. So are you still there, Cody? I'm just looking here with Snakes on a Plane, Samuel L. Jackson. It's got the L in his name, E-L, which means Elohim, which means God. And he's got the Jackson, the Son of God. These high-level actors, all right, they have the spirit of the serpent. They have the spirit of the serpent. And unfortunately, because we live in a fallen world, what happens? They're worshipped. We worship as a society Satanists. We always have done. We worship Satanists. I did. I loved like professional athletes, Hollywood actors. All right. We worship evil. All right. And we often mock God, or we deny God, or whatever it may be. We'll spend 3 hours watching a movie, but we won't spend 30 seconds reading a Bible verse. I've had people say that. I'm like, bro, read this verse. Oh, I don't have time. You don't have time to read a verse? Oh, you must be really busy. You must be a busy individual. You can't read a verse, but you're going to the movies tonight, aren't you? Oh, yeah. Okay. Sure, you don't have time. So, and I know, guys, some of you watching this is not for you. You're like, get this guy off. All right, I'm not here for religion. I don't want to know about Christ. Just go back to talking about numbers. I get that, which is why I want Cody back. I've said my piece. All right, this is who I am. This is how I preach. This is my style. I think Cody presents better than me. I do believe that. But I don't know where he is, and I don't want to end the stream. I don't want to leave you staring at nothing. So I like that Rachel said it's not religion, it's Jesus. Yeah, religion's of the devil. The Bible warns you about religious hypocrites. Religion's of Satan, all right? It's about having a relationship with your Father. He doesn't want anybody to perish, but you've got to accept what his Son did. His Son is him. That's why Jesus said the Father and I are one. God came in the flesh, dwelt amongst us, died for all of our sins, resurrected, his blood cleanses it. All right? The Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit, 3 in 1. Human being, mind, body, soul. All right? 3 in 1. It's still one entity, but you have a mind, a body, and a soul. Satan wants you to separate those 3. The Bible makes clear Jesus is God. In the beginning was the Word. All right? The beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word dwelt amongst us in the flesh. God dwelt amongst us in the flesh as Jesus Christ. He was perfect. Who's perfect? God. No man. God. We're all sinners. We're sinners in our mother's womb, guys. All right, we all fall short of the glory of God. You can try to be as nice as you want. You still fall short of the glory of God because you were born a sinner. Casey Jones, can you take over? CJ, reverse of JC. Are you there, brother?
Hey, what's going on?
Hey,
Yeah,
brother, do you want to take over and talk about a theme or a topic? I know you're an incredibly gifted coder, especially with astrology. Is there anything you want to talk about? I feel like I've become the host here, and I was supposed to be a guest for 5 minutes in my head.
Oh,
Hello?
yeah, I don't hold a candle to
Hello?
the illusion. I hope Cody's back. I'll let him.
Yeah,
I will say, you talked about Samuel Jackson. He turned 316 Mercury years old yesterday. So I'll leave it there.
316, exact.
Exact.
See, and that goes back to John 3:16. Do you know that verse?
Oh yeah.
You guys hear me?
God so loved the world that he
Testing,
gave his only
testing,
begotten
testing,
Son, that
1, 2,
whosoever believes
testing.
in him should not perish but have everlasting life. That's your 3:16. It's
I hear
beautiful.
you,
Testing, 1,
Cody.
2.
I can hear you, Cody.
Testing.
Cody?
Testing, 1, 2.
Guess you couldn't hear us.
And brother, you know you were talking about Samuel L. Jackson?
Right.
Samuel's a prophet or a priest and a judge in the Old Testament. All
Oh
right.
yeah, he's got a couple of books. Right?
Yeah. You got Samuel. Like all the names, like he was Israel's last judge. And do you know that Elon translates to judge in Hebrew? Like Elon Musk, it means judge, because judgment's coming, not by Elon Musk. All right. He's just fulfilling the word of God, just like many of these Satanists have done in the Bible. All right. But yeah, Elon means judge in Hebrew. These names are not like Donald, as you all know, means world leader, doesn't it? The word Donald means world leader. I think Cody said that Melania means darkness, yeah? Or blackness. It's like you've got to go to the root. It's like a tree. You've got to go to the root of these words. And do you know they're like Trumpomania, and then you've got Melania. It's got the Ania. I bet there's something with that. With the Ania. WrestleMania. Trump's obviously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame. But yeah, it's just mental. Blackness. And there was a wrestler called Seth Rollins. Obviously, Seth was the son of Adam and Eve. Seth Rollins in the Indies was called Tyler Black, right? All this black symbolism you're saying about the Black Mamba. And I left a comment about Amy Winehouse had a musical documentary called Back to Black, right? There's all this black. Tyler Black, Seth Rollins, his song is Burn It Down. And on the day that WWE was in Los Angeles for Raw, LA was set on fire. And he headlined it. And his song's called Burn It Down. Like,
Yeah, you have Seth and Set are interchangeable. You know, Set, the Egyptian god.
Yeah.
You know, the setting sun that, you know, he kind of was known to combat, I think it was Apep, the Egyptian snake demon. And he kind of ruled over the night. So.
Yeah. So it's just all connected. It's almost as if, like I said, it's already been pre-written, not by some supercomputer or by the occult. Because think about it, you know, all the people that say it's the occult and they want world power and all of that. The average person now lives 73 years, right? Which is a blink of an eye. It's nothing. So if you have this power, this influence, you'd want to achieve the New World Order in your lifetime, wouldn't you? What use is it when you're dead? Because they're not in control. Satan just makes it look like they are. All right? God created man. Man did not create God. You know how they try and tell you, oh, well, man wrote the Bible. Why? Have you seen the wisdom of the Bible? That he preaches love, repentance, truth, honesty, love thy neighbor. Does that sound like an evil man would write that? No. No way did man write the Bible. It was the Holy Spirit through man, just like Moses parted the Red Sea through God, just like David defeated Goliath, not through his own power and strength, but the power and strength of God. All right, and us, we're going to be persecuted for our faith, but blessed are those who are persecuted. I say, bring it on.
Hey, Adam,
Bring it on, baby.
Hey, Adam, I got a request, and I have to get off. I'm about to pick up my daughter.
Yeah, I got to go soon as well.
Could you tell us, you know, could you share with us about, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, but
no, I don't mind. Go for it.
It's something that came up in conversation between Cody and I.
Yeah.
Just the story of Paul and or Saul and his conversion on the road to Damascus.
Okay, so you want to know about Apostle Paul? Like, Damascus is going to get destroyed, and I think very shortly. So Paul preached repentance, didn't he? And he was an apostle of Christ. But do you know originally that he would basically have a big role in persecuting Christians? So Paul traveled on the road, didn't he? He went from Jerusalem to Damascus, and with the purpose to arrest people, bring them back to Jerusalem. But then Jesus appeared to him in a great light. And then Paul was struck blind. But after 3 days, his sight was renewed by Ananias of Damascus. And Paul began to preach that Jesus of Nazareth is the Jewish Messiah and the Son of God. All right? So it shows you how, I'm not sure I'm answering your question, but it shows you how Jesus can completely renew a person's mind and transform a person. You had a guy who wanted to go and get these Christians, arrest them, bring them back to Jerusalem, but Jesus appeared, all right? Struck him blind, but now he can see through Christ, and that's what's happening with us. We're able to see. And look at this. Paul's birthplace was not the land Christ walked by, the Hellenistic city of Tarsus, the chief city of Roman province of Cilicia, Tarsus, modern-day Tarsus, in southeastern Turkey, right? So you see throughout the Bible, you've got this chief and you've got the Roman. And do you know who Roman Reigns is? The wrestler Roman Reigns. He always says, acknowledge me. He's the tribal chief. And guys, don't be acknowledging Roman Reigns. Acknowledge Jesus Christ. Roman Reigns ain't going to save you. So wait, where's he gone? I'm not sure what his question was about Paul and Damascus, but I just want to show you guys that God does work in mysterious ways. Okay, he can take anybody for his own will. I was an atheist. I denied a creator. I was self-righteous. He chose me out of the world. I now preach the gospel. All right. So I just think like my mindset is tomorrow's not guaranteed for anybody but God.
Testing 1 2.
So today could be your last day on earth to get right with God.
Testing 1 2. Can anyone hear
That's
me?
my big thing. That's my urgency of why I do what I do and why I work myself sick. Because I
Testing
know
1
I'm going to
2.
get a new
Testing.
body in heaven. Yeah, I can hear you, Cody.
Testing.
You are being tested by the devil. Can you hear? I'll send you
How about
money
now?
for a microphone if you want, mate, for a good one.
How about now?
I'll happily PayPal you money to get you a microphone.
Can you hear me?
I can now. You were saying testing like 15 times. I could hear you say it. And then you go away.
All right. So I think I finally, maybe I got it to work.
I've got an idea. Why don't you do the stream without the microphone? Just remove the microphone completely from the equation. Did you used to do streams without a microphone? Just take the microphone out of the equation if that's the issue. I'm not using one. It seems like the chat can hear me loud and clear. Just get rid of the microphone. Prevention's cheaper than the cure. Just get rid of it. Mayflower. Yeah, I pray for all unbelievers every single day. They do need your prayers. They need the word, though. Bible says that it needs preachers. So we just got to preach. Most people don't want to hear it, but preach to them. They might not want it, but they need it. Jesus gives you what you need. Satan gives you what you want. The book of Corinthians is amazing, John 3:16. Yeah, it's awesome. I was reading Thessalonians today. So I'll try and answer any questions you have in the chat, but I was only planning to be here 5 minutes. I was going to rest today because I'm exhausted. But listen, the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. Like the spirit kills the flesh. If you focus on the spirit, we're so wrapped up in fleshly desires that we dismiss the spirit. Jesus is salvation, Satan's temptation. It's so much easier to give into temptation. That's just the reality, because temptation is instantly gratifying.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me?
Yes. Can't see you, but I can hear you.
How well can you hear me? Is it clear?
Perfect. Did you get rid of the microphone?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all you needed to do. Just get rid of the microphone. You'll be absolutely fine now.
Yeah, I just don't know how well it sounds without the mic, but
it sounds perfect. Guys, can you all hear Cody loud and clear in the chat? I can hear you perfectly. Just put a thumbs up if you can hear Cody loud and clear in the chat.
Let me know if you guys can hear me.
Yeah, Rachel said yes. Sweet Memories MS said yes. Lexi, John 3. Yeah, you're good, brother. You're absolutely fine.
All right. Well, that was like 20 minutes of trying to figure out this mic, but I don't know what's going on with it, man.
Spiritual wickedness, brother. Where did you get it from?
I got it from Germany when Derek from Gematria, he actually he helped me out and got me a new computer and this mic,
Oh wow.
But, it wasn't the best mic I could get because I only had a small budget, but it sounded good, but now it seems it's doing something weird. I don't know what.
I would just get rid of it and go back to.
You know what's crazy? Actually, this mic is made by a company that has a serpent on it.
There you go. It's spiritual wickedness, brother. That's what it is. Yeah. Wow. It's got a snake on it.
Can you believe it? I just put that together, man. The brand that makes this has literally a snake on there, and we're just talking about this.
You're speaking through the microphone, which has a snake on it, yeah?
Well, the microphone itself doesn't, but the brand that makes it, their symbol is a snake.
Because it was the mouth of the snake that tempted Adam and Eve, the serpent. Like I've told, like everything is divinely coded. Like what just happened to you there is not the Freemasons or the Jesuits why you have that microphone with the snake connection. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
We
I
need to
mean,
start
absolutely not.
accepting that, and coincidences don't exist. Sometimes God's communicating with you. Oh, what a coincidence. No, pay attention, be vigilant, sober. All right. He can communicate with you in so many ways. So can the devil, by the way. The devil can communicate with you as well.
Everything that
Is cunning.
everything that I talk about often, I don't believe that it's man doing it, but
Nope.
the thing is, like, because in my own life, it's all coded in my own life even. So like I know that,
Yeah.
I could go over lots of examples. I'm not going to do that, but I could go over many examples of that. So
No, exactly. So this is the type of thing we need to show people, because I just think there's too many people in the community that bring it back to man, like societies and things like that. I think it's good to reveal and expose them, but don't imply like I was reading an article yesterday and it was like USA, Russia, and China have the ability to end the world. No, God does that. That's not any nation or man. Do you know what I mean?
no,
Do you know what I'm
it
saying
can't
when they
be.
tell you that? They don't have that amount of power. If they did, they would have done what they wanted to do centuries ago, because man is impatient.
No, it can't be man. It can't be man doing anything. I mean, it, they think they can. They think they can do something, but they really
That's
can't.
what I mean. It's the delusion. Like,
My mom used to tell me we can't even wake up and get out of bed without God in the morning.
amen. But it's true. It's
Yeah.
true. Every day that is giving us life, that blessing that we should appreciate. But as a society, what we do, brother, is we always focus on what we don't have. We complain all the time. All right. When we should be focusing on just the gift of life, just the ability to wake up or walk or talk or eat. All right. Little things like
Yeah.
that. Just be humble and grateful and gracious. Like Jesus came to serve, not to be served. So yeah, is there anything else you want to talk about, brother? I kind of like can't believe I've been here like 30 minutes or longer.
Well, because it's late here and I'm talking very lightly right now because my girlfriend's already asleep, but like just thank you for coming on, and I'm glad. I always love having you on because you always really you bring God into the chat and you bring people here and you bring people together. And I think most of the people in the chat loved what you were talking about. I didn't catch all of what you were saying while I was gone. I was trying to fix the mic and I was listening kind of at the same time.
Yeah,
But I think we should start doing like a weekly show together.
I'm happy. I'm happy, brother. I think you're unbelievably gifted. You've been
I
gifted by
mean,
God, and
I'm doing shows. I'm doing shows with Derek often, but I'd like to have other people on. So maybe we could do a weekly show because everyone in the chat seems to love. I mean, everyone loves you, and I love your info too. Often when you stream, though, I don't get a chance to catch your lives because I'm already in bed or something.
yeah,
So, but I always love to tune into your stream. So, let
I
me know
do
in the
it,
chat,
brother.
guys, if you guys want a weekly stream with the illusion, we can do that on here. So, and I think you're shadow banned a lot, and
Oh,
particularly.
like crazy, brother. Like crazy. It's expected, though. Do you know what I mean? It's expected.
Yeah,
What's
and
the say?
particularly right now, I'm not as shadow banned, so you're getting more exposure, and that's good for you. If I can get you like more people coming to your channel now, maybe we
Yeah,
can
no,
get your
like,
number.
I don't need the likes and views. I want people to hear the word of God. Do you know what I mean? I don't need the
Exactly. Yeah,
satisfaction of people hitting the like. I want the likes so that gets the work out. Because when you're a YouTuber, brother, the algorithm is a real thing. All right. When people like and share it and leave comments, it gets the work out. That's like a factual thing. Who wants to watch a live stream for 2 hours that has 40 likes and 2 comments?
yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
and that's what I mean. I want your information to get out too. I want you to be able to share your gospel and to
Thank you.
be
It's
able
not mine,
to.
it's God's. But yeah,
Well, that's what I meant. But like, I want you to be able to share the gospel and to have more people listening to you because
thank
you
you.
do an amazing job at it. So if that will help, and just having you on and just having a good talk is always great anyway. So
Yeah, the beauty with
I
you
just
and I, Cody, is that when we do a stream, I've said this before with you and I, we'll talk about the same topic from a completely different angle and it all connects. So you'll make these amazing connections and I'm like, whoa. And then I add to them and you're like, whoa. And then the chat is adding and it's like, that's the beauty of like the teamwork. Do you know what I mean? We're not that same style code. I think we code differently. I think you find things I can't see, and I find things you can't see, and that's why it's like, whoa, these guys are throwing out a lot of info here at one time.
Well, it's good to have the all kinds of different views, and that's why I like having Derek on. That's why I like having
Derek's really
Casey
good,
on,
yeah.
and then having
Really
you
good.
on. I wish Joseph would come on my channel more, but Joseph has his own channel that he does well on anyway. So, but
That's true.
you know, I like having you guys on, and
Well, I hope
so
you get that mic fixed, brother. And if not, I'm telling you, everyone can hear you loud and clear. I know it feels more
yeah, I
professional with a
guess
microphone. I can hear you loud and clear, no issues, no dramas.
yeah, I guess it's I guess if that's the case, I'll listen back to the stream and see what I think of the sound, but I guess maybe I'll just stop using the mic. So
I recommend that because you've got the speakers in your computer. If you've
yeah,
got a decent
so
computer, it'll be good.
yeah, man. So yeah, I'm gonna get off and get to bed. Actually, it's late here, but you know, I just moved into an apartment. You have to leave Germany every 3 months.
Yeah, you mentioned that. That's wild. Like
So
90 days. Yeah.
yeah, now I'm in Mostar. Uh, I posted some pictures in my community section if you guys want to go check them out. But
That's Bosnia,
yeah,
no?
yeah, Bosnia, yeah, and beautiful area here. I'll pull up the pictures for everyone to see. Hold on a second. Make sure you guys go
There's a
subscribe
lot.
to it.
There's a lot of nations in Europe that are so beautiful that people don't talk about. And I think Bosnia is one of them. Like Croatia was another, but now more and more people. Do you know in Bosnia there's a place called Millennium Cross?
No, where's that at?
If you type in Mostar, yeah,
Uh-huh.
type in Mostar and go to the map, it will show you Millennium Cross.
Okay. Hold on a second. Can you guys see the pictures I have up? Can you guys see those pictures?
Let's have a look.
I don't know if anyone can see them, but
Yes.
yeah, we just took a few of these pictures today. So, but yeah, beautiful place, and even in the winter, it's it's a beautiful place. So the river here is just absolutely gorgeous, and the bridge that goes over it, Jesus the bridge, right?
Exactly,
Um,
brother. Just Google Millennium Cross, Bosnia. It's got the
Millennium.
cross. Millennium Cross, like the millennial reign and things like that. It says it's sat on top of Hum Hill. Looks pretty wild. Yeah, Bosnia looks beautiful, mate.
Wow, yeah. This must be close to me?
Yeah, it will be. Check it out. Mostar
Yeah,
as well, like the star symbolism, like Stargate. Like you're in Mostar. Like
yeah, man. So think about this. Right before I left Germany,
yep.
I had no idea we were going to go to Mostar. I didn't plan it. I was just forced to go here because I didn't want to go back to Albania.
Okay.
And so this is just kind of where God pointed us to, me and my
Yeah.
girlfriend. And we always talk about stars, right?
Yep.
And as soon as I got here, or before I got here, Trump released the Stargate project, right?
Yeah.
But I didn't plan that. Like I said, I didn't plan it at all. And then when I got here last night, I had this amazing revelation with the star Sirius.
Okay.
And like as soon as I got to Mostar, all this Sirius stuff started coming to me. And I found something how Sirius is connected to the Stargate project. And I have a huge decode coming up on that actually. And it's
Awesome.
connected to Roman Reigns. Did you see my Roman Reigns decode about how he's the Sirius, how they use
No.
him? It's really Lucifer, right? Sirius, Lucifer.
Yeah, I was
But
just saying when he says acknowledge me, like that's the Antichrist talking. Like, acknowledge me when he does that, and his Roman reigns and his in the bloodline, and they called him the tribal chief. It connects, and he played football, didn't he? He played high level football. Roman Reigns. He wanted to be in the
right,
NFL.
yeah.
No, I
And
haven't
just
watched that. I'll watch it though.
what I found with in my last decode I shared with Roman Reigns, it just blew my mind because there's clearly coding with Sirius in with his character,
Okay.
specifically Sirius, right? So, but what I found yesterday, I'm going to share in my next decode, but it's pretty wild because there's another project called the Montauk Project, and these guys wrote a book about a government agency who basically part of the Nazi mind control agencies, but basically it's a whole decode in itself. But basically what I'm trying to get at is that as soon as I got to Most Star, I started getting all these like revelation things on the star Sirius. So it was weird. And
It's
that
crazy
just shows you that
because Sirius is the brightest star in the sky, yeah?
yeah. Hmm.
And Roman Reigns like the biggest star in WWE.
Yeah, yeah. If you watch my last video, I made that point.
Oh, you did?
And
Okay.
not only that, you know that the star Sirius is located in the Big Dog constellation, right?
And they call him the big dog, don't they?
Yeah. And on
But they
top of
used to, I
that,
don't think they do anymore. They used to call him the big dog when he was getting booed. The big dog
yeah,
Roman Reigns.
he was the big dog to represent the constellation of Sirius, but then he got changed to the tribal chief, right?
Yep.
What if I told you though that the Hawaiian name for Sirius means chief?
That's absolutely just remarkable, brother.
And guess what the Gematria even tells you? If you type in Roman Reigns, it equals the Hawaiian in Jewish Gematria, which is very hard to get matches. It equals Roman Reigns equals the Hawaiian name for Sirius, Kaulua. And it
Wow.
means chief. So, and I showed you that he's born 32 star number days before 9/11, where the dog Sirius died, and Sirius equals 32. So I've proven by now that Roman Reigns has clearly been coded with Sirius. Now, what I found yesterday blew my mind because Paul Heyman came out and revealed Roman Reigns as the cover star for WWE 2025, right?
Have
And
you noticed? Have you noticed that Roman and Heyman, they both end with man, like son of man?
right, yeah. And you know they're born 10-28 weeks apart,
I didn't know that, but I know that George Floyd died on Roman Reigns' birthday.
right? And Paul Heyman's born on 9/11,
The Jew.
and they're yeah, and he's born 10-28 weeks apart from Roman, like the
Oh my
tower collapsed
word.
at 10-28.
Oh my word. Like exact.
Yeah, exact. 10-28 weeks exact.
And they talk
So
about the 1,028 weeks left with
yeah,
the woman who protested in France, wasn't it? Tennis tournament.
yeah. This Roman Reigns stuff is just it blows my mind because I'm the first one to show how he's clearly coded with Sirius, and
Yeah, this is incredible, mate.
so and what I'm going to show in the next video is absolutely insane too because I'm going to show how it's tied in with this book called the Montauk Project, and Trump just released the Stargate Project.
Oh
And
my word.
when I show people this, it should blow people's minds because I just put all the pieces together last night, but I haven't had a chance to share it. So,
Bro,
but yeah,
that's absolutely just blown me away. The serious connection.
yeah, and the numbers are absolutely perfect, and that's why you have Sirianni coaching the Eagles. Sirianni.
Wow.
Um,
And so Jesus, um, he sat at the head of the table, didn't he, with the disciples?
right. Yeah.
And Roman's called the head of the table, isn't he?
Yeah, and you know that what interesting about that is that Roman's born 32 star, the 32 star number days before 9/11, right? Which is
Yeah.
Sirius. But Christ equals 32 in the same cipher as Sirius.
And
And
and Brady made his NFL debut as a start of the year in 9/11, and he retired the 32nd day of the year.
uh-huh, yeah.
He's like a
So
Christ-like figure in the NFL, isn't it? You know, Roman says, "Acknowledge me" and all of that, and he does that point.
uh-huh.
Literally,
Yeah, and
Jesus said in the book of Luke that he says, "Those who humble themselves will be exalted." Is Roman Reigns humble, brother? When he's going around saying, "Acknowledge me," and that he's the goat,
yeah, absolutely not.
doing the opposite of what Jesus
Yeah.
preaches, and what the world love him, don't they? The world
Yeah.
love him. He's the most famous star, and he's doing the opposite of what God preaches. It's just typical of the world that we live in, guys. But I'm still getting over your Roman Reigns code.
Well, and
Insane.
and wait till you see how he connects with what happened the other night with Paul Heyman and him and Sirius, because did you know that they consider Sirius the sun behind the sun?
No, I just like my connection with Sirius is, when Sirius drops from the sky in the Truman Show.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's as much as I don't know much about Sirius. I knew that it was the brightest star in the sky at night, but not this level of knowledge that you have about Sirius. It's something I will look into now. Well, not now, I'm too tired, but I'll definitely look more into Sirius. You got the Sirius FM, haven't you? The radio station in the US.
Well,
Really
that's why you
popular.
have two things. You have Siri, Siri on the iPhone,
Oh, the Siri, yeah, the AI, yeah.
and then you have Sirius, right?
And
XM.
the
It's
Joker
all
says,
radio
why so
frequency.
serious?
Yeah. And this Montauk project that I'm going to cover is all about supposed alien races, which I think are demons, really. But
Absolutely, yeah.
supposed alien races that come from Sirius, the star Sirius system, Syrian. They call them Syrians, right? And this is where you connect with Siriani, because Siriani is the coach of the Philadelphia team, right? Well, what if I told you that the Montauk project was also known as the Philadelphia experiment?
No, I would be like, God is giving you this information. This is not man.
Yeah, so the Montauk project is the project that claims that these people, these aliens or demons, come from Sirius, right?
Yeah.
And then this project, which is considered a conspiracy theory, was a mind control project, right?
Yeah.
And basically, these people wrote a book about it, but it used to be called the Philadelphia experiment. And as I told you, the coach of Philadelphia is Sirianni, and that's why this whole Super Bowl is connected to Roman Reigns, because Roman Reigns is not only the tribal chief like the Kansas City Chiefs,
Yep.
but he's also part of Philadelphia. He lost his championship in Philadelphia in the Eagles Stadium. But you know what? The Chiefs are super connected to Sirius, because in the mythologies, Sirius is also connected to bows and arrows,
Okay.
right? And he's also connected to dogs, right? And what's the mascot for the Chiefs? The wolf,
Wow.
which is also, so the Chiefs are completely serious. They have so much code with that, right?
And do you know
And
what was the NFL player that it's just been released. I think his name was Baron Corbin, right? So he's got Baron in his name, like Trump's son. And his finishing moves, end of days, right?
Yeah.
It's called End of Days. And Baron Corbin, wasn't he called the Lone Wolf?
Yeah, yep, he was.
All right, so his gimmick was the Lone Wolf. And his favorite team is the Chiefs.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah, he's been a fan of the Chiefs his whole life, brother.
Huh.
So Baron Corbin, I'm sure you'll find gold with him now.
Yeah.
It's
And
just,
Baron
yeah.
Corbin, he before he left, he was saying burn the ships.
Burn the ships. But the beast rises out of the sea.
Yeah. And Sirius is always connected to burning things too, because the name Sirius means scorching. So it could mean hell, right?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
that's why I think Sirius, if they're saying that these Syrians come from the Syrian star system. Oh, that's another thing. Can you believe that Roman Reigns? Why do you think Sami Zayn is the honorary member of the bloodline?
From Syria.
Exactly, Syrian. And that's what they call these people, Syrian. And why do you think Jey Uso is the star of the bloodline? He's like one of the most popular parts of the bloodline. Because if you go in Gematria, Jey Uso equals Sirius.
Oh, wait.
And
In all the ciphers?
not all, but the main one, the just ordinal 95.
Oh, okay.
And again, when Paul Heyman gave the speech the other night, you got to go watch Paul Heyman's speech about Roman Reigns being the cover artist. And you're going to hear him say, I am the one behind the one. And
Wow.
if you read the Montauk Project, they write in that book that Sirius is the one sun behind the sun. And Paul Heyman literally said the exact same thing, right? I am the one behind the one. And then after that, he says Roman Reigns is the star, again, pointing to Sirius, the star of the world. And even when Elon Musk colonizes Mars, Roman Reigns will be the star of that planet too. Well, what if I told you in the Montauk Project book, they talk about Tesla and colonizing Mars? So the whole thing connects to this Montauk Project, like everything. Like, and I just found this out last night, and I have a lot more to share, like in slides and stuff, but it blew my mind. It really did. So
Bro, that's just crazy. And Paul Heyman has a son called Jacob, and that again, Jacob's trouble. Jacob in the Bible, a key figure in the Bible is
Jacob's
Jacob. He was
ladder.
the son of Isaac.
Jacob's
And
ladder too.
yeah, exactly. And isn't there somebody in the bloodline called Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, another Jacob. So that this is
And
going
he's
back
the
to
wolf.
Abraham. And remember, Abraham was going to sacrifice his son, Isaac,
Right. Yep.
and he didn't sacrifice the ram instead, but he was willing to do it for his love of God. And think about how there's so many sacrifices in wrestling, like Bray Wyatt, who died on Vince McMahon's birthday at 36, just things like that. And remember, like, Seth betrayed his brother Roman in the Shield, but it was Cain who, like, murdered his brother Abel. And remember, in the Shield, they called themselves brothers, didn't they?
Hounds too. The hounds, the dogs.
The hounds, the dogs, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I don't want you to give everything up here, but
Yeah, I gotta get off anyway. It's
same,
already
mate.
so late here, but yeah, we'll go start planning a weekly stream, um, where we
Bro,
can get on and
we could literally just break down WWE Raw every Tuesday with how biblical it's become.
and we can share some scripture and gospel while we're at it. Yeah.
Yeah, I would prefer to do that, to be honest, but connect it
Yeah.
all. Just connect it all. That's what I want to do. I want to use all this knowledge, brother, all of it, but then bring it back to the source, which is God. Do you know what I mean? That's my goal. Get all the info, connect all the dots. Wow, that's mind blowing with Roman Reigns and Sirius and all of that. But then bring it back to the Bible. That's my goal. I think it's yours as well, deep down. I think that's your goal
Absolutely.
as well.
Absolutely. I always want to point people to the real truth.
Yeah, there's only one ultimate truth, and there's a lot of opinions. It's the same with like coding. Half of the community will be on the Chiefs, the other half are going to be on the Eagles. All right. But when it comes to the ultimate truth, it's the word of God. It's eternal. All right. Opinions, okay, they're valid, but they're not the ultimate truth.
I don't care who wins the game. Everyone always comes to my channel and tries to make it seem like I care who wins the game. I just like to show the symbolism and the code, and people are
Oh yeah,
trying to
you've made that
always.
very clear. Yeah, you have made that very clear. And you send disclaimers out. This is not a pick. This is just information. Do as you wish. And yeah, that's what it should be. You give information. People have free will, brother. They do as they wish with the information that you share. They can dismiss it. It can change their life. They can buy a Bible. They can bet on it. They can set up their own channel because you've inspired them. Many things they can do, but it's up to them, isn't it? It's up to them. All right.
Yep. All right,
Thank
man.
you
Well,
very much, mate.
yeah, thank you so much for coming on and handling it while I was on the rocks. But I appreciate that, and
Oh, you got through it, brother. But
we'll
yeah,
start.
I'll do it soon
We'll
with you.
talk later about a stream. All right, we'll talk later
Yeah,
about
yeah.
a stream.
Yeah. Just contact me, brother. On email's probably best for me. Do you have my email?
Is it just your name? Is it just the
Yeah,
illusion?
it's aeders11@gmail.com. If you go on any of my live streams where it's like, you got the link with the description, my email's in it. So just
All right, yeah,
email
I'll get
me
it.
and then just say, hey, do you want to do a stream, whatever day and time? And I'll be like, yeah, okay, let's go. Just tell me the theme.
All right, man.
All right, God bless you. Thank you, and sleep
God
well,
bless.
brother. Bye.
Thanks, man.
My pleasure. Bye.
See you. All right, everyone. I got to get off here. It's late. Don't want to wake my girlfriend up anymore. So thank you to all in the chat. And I really appreciate you all. And sorry about all the technical difficulties. I didn't plan this stream to go 3 hours, but it went 3 hours. So thank you guys for sticking around for 3 hours, and we'll see you guys. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you, Reiner. Thank you, Visionary Vet. Thank you, Gene Splice. Thank you, Richard West. Thank you, Coffee Girl. Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, Black Apple. Thank you, Real Assistant. Thank you, Brenda. Yeah, thank you to all in the chat. Much love. God bless you all, and we'll see you guys in the next stream. God bless.